A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Jerry of the Circus. For Jerry of the Circus.
Whitey!
Hello! Oh, it's you, Jerry. Hi there! I wondered where you disappeared to. Thought you were coming back to help me with the horses.
I was, Whitey, but Rags is gone.
Rags?
Yeah, I locked him up in our wagon, but during the fire somehow he must have got out. When I got back, the door was open, and he must have got frightened by the fire or something. I don't know. He never runs away.
Rags is your dog, huh?
Yeah, and he's all I got, Whitey. I just can't go away without him.
Nonsense, son. The circus will be out of here in a couple hours. You're not going to stay behind because of some little mud dog.
You don't understand. He's all the family I got, except an uncle I can't even find. Gee, Whitey, we've been hungry together. You don't understand.
Oh, I guess I kind of get the idea, kid. You sure he's not in the circus lot anyplace?
I don't see how he could be. I've been calling him for hours, seems like, and I've been trying to watch all the wagons and things as they headed for the station.
Oh, you poor kid. Listen, I got to keep moving. But jump on and I'll take you on into town. He may have followed some of the audience during the fire. Maybe he's gone back to where you used to live.
Gee, I never thought of that. Golly, I'm dumb.
No, you're not. You're just plumb tired out. You've had enough excitement in the past 12 hours to last most boys a month of Sundays. Hop on. I got to get moving. Hut, boy!
Gee, but it's good to sit down for a while.
I thought you were kind of done up. Had anything to eat?
Not since dinner.
That was 6, and now it's after 2. Reach under the seat there. You'll find a bag of apples.
Oh, thanks. Just I am kind of hungry. Boy. Here, Rags. I want to be sure I don't pass him on the way in.
Oh, you'll probably find him back where you used to live. Dogs usually go back home.
You're right. Of course, we haven't had much of a home. He probably doesn't know yet our home's in the wagon I locked him up in. Why, I just gotta find him. We just gotta stay with this circus. Rags! Rags! Wait, where are you going, Whitey?
Oh, that's right. This is a shortcut to the station. I forgot. We missed part of the town this way. You want to get off here?
Yeah, we were staying in a boarding house just a little ways from here.
Hi there. Easy, boy. Hi. Now, listen, Jerry. When you get down to that station, sure, by 2:45. That's when the last train pulls out.
If I find Rags, I will.
Jerry, it's great to feel that way about a dog. I'm proud of you. But your life belongs to the circus. The way you helped out at that fire tonight.
Oh, that was nothing.
And it was everything. And we need boys and men like you. Now, get that dog if you can. But remember, the circus has to go on, and you don't want to throw away your whole life just for...
Thanks, Whitey, but I can't give up Rags. But if I don't find him in time, you can just bet I'll get back to the circus somehow.
Got any money?
No, but...
Well, then, how you going to eat?
Well, I can work.
Oh, you're too young. They'll pick you up and put you in an orphanage or something. Listen, son, I could give you some money, but I'm not going to. You get to that station, dog or no dog, see? Bye, kid. Good luck. Up there. See you later, Jerry.
So long. See you later. I hope. Rags! Rags! Where are you, Rags? Where are you? Rags! Rags! It's getting cold. Rags!
Hey, what are you yelling for? This is a decent neighborhood. Folks want to sleep.
Sorry, mister. I lost my dog.
Well, wait until morning.
Gee. Rags! Rags! Rags!
Well, what's up, kid?
Oh, hello, mister.
You live around here?
No,
Well, what you doing in this neighborhood?
looking for my dog.
Yeah? At 2 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, sir.
Where do you live?
Well,
Quit stalling now.
I'm not. I live with the circus.
Yeah? It's leaving town.
I know. That's why I got to get my dog before they...
Sorry, son, but I gotta run you in. What you got in your pockets? Nothing. Good. All right, get moving.
But I haven't done anything.
Maybe not. But there's been some petty thieving on this beat the last few nights, and we got orders to run in anyone at this time of night who can't explain what they're doing. Come on, get going.
But I can't explain. Gee, mister, please don't take me in. I just got to get that dog. The train's leaving in about an hour, and...
All right. You can explain it to the desk sergeant. You got plenty of time to make that train.
But I got to get my dog.
Here we are, kid. Here's the radio car. Won't take a minute to check your story. All right, get in. There we are. Now, no tricks, kid.
Honest, mister, I've been trying to find my dog all evening. He got away from the wagon and must have got frightened while they were moving the circus.
I thought you said you belonged to the circus.
We do.
Then why'd he be scared? Ain't he used to moving?
Well, you see, we just joined just today.
Oh, so you live around here, eh?
No, we just been here a few weeks.
Well, where'd you stay?
We
Yeah,
stayed...
funnier and funnier. You'll have to tell a better story to the desk sergeant. Well, here we are. Out you get. All right. Come on in here now. Hello, Sarge.
Oh, Doc. Well, where'd you get the boy?
I picked him up in the woodlawn section.
Yeah? Pretty young. What's your name, son?
Jerry Dugan.
Jerry Dugan, eh? Dugan. That's funny. That name's familiar. Hey, wait a minute. That's the name of the boy that O'Brien woman sent in the complaint about. The kid that skipped owing rent. Had a dog, I think. Now, let me look through these files.
Oh, yeah? Well, it ties in, then. This kid claimed he was looking for his dog. What kind of dog was it?
White, and not so big, and kind of curly.
Here it is. Yep, that's what I thought. Jerry Dugan, a minor, wanted. 2 weeks' rent, and let me see. Yeah, you got freckles, all right. Brown hair, blue eyes, about 11, and a white dog.
There was no dog with him.
That's what I told you. I was looking for him.
Well, I'm afraid that clinches it, son. Guess we'll have to lock you up for the night.
Oh, no, not tonight. Oh, gee, you can't do that.
What do you mean, can't?
Oh, I mean... But, gee, the circus is leaving town in about an hour, and I...
Still sticking to that circus yarn, eh?
But, honest, it's true. Gee, mister, can't you believe me?
There'll be plenty of time to check on that tomorrow. You see in this report, it says you're an orphan.
Yeah, that's true. Dad just died only last week.
Well, I'm sorry, son, but you see, this lady, what's her name?
Mrs. O'Brien.
Yeah, Mrs. O'Brien. She says she's trying to arrange to have the boy put in an orphanage.
Oh, no, you can't do that.
I'm afraid I wouldn't have anything to do with that.
But an orphanage...
Well, they'd take good care of you. Good food and...
Oh, no.
Well, we'll see about all that in the morning, buddy.
No, you can't do that to me.
Now, just take it easy. You get a good night's sleep, and then you'll feel different.
No, I won't. Anyhow, how can I sleep with Rags gone and the circus gone, and it'll be just too late?
Sorry, but with all the woodlawn trouble in the past few nights, and you being at large, according to the claim of this O'Brien woman, I can't let you go without checking pretty thoroughly. Tom, put him in 113. Night, kid.
No, please. My dog, you can't put me in jail. You can't. I don't want to. Please let me alone. I don't want to go to
Jason, have they found Jerry?
No, Patsy, but I've been talking to Whitey. Seems he picked the kid up and drove him toward town. He was looking for Rags, but Whitey thinks he'll be here by 2:45. He told him 15 minutes earlier than the train pulls out, so he'd be sure to make it.
But it's almost 3 now, and Jerry's not here. You don't think he could have gotten into any trouble, do you?
No, now don't you worry your pretty head about Jerry. He'll get here, Patsy.
Bumps told me that you'd found Rags.
Yeah, he was having a wonderful time sniffing around the ashes. I was afraid he'd get run over with all those wagons and things, so I locked him up in my place. I tried to feed him, but he acted funny. I guess he's not feeling so well.
Poor little mutt. All that excitement of doing his act and everything.
What do you mean, doing his act?
Well, didn't you hear?
No.
Well, Rags followed Bumps into the ring last night and went through a routine that had the audience laughing so they were practically in the aisle.
You don't mean it.
Yes, I do. I heard Mr. Randall say that they were going to put the dog in the act. Bumps was pleased pink. I never saw anyone so surprised as Bumps when he found that dog following him. He was crazier than usual trying to get that pup out of the ring. Gee, what a trooper that clown is. Best in the business. I laughed so I cried and had to do my makeup all over again before going on with my own act.
He's a cute dog, all right.
I'll say.
Funny thing, he wouldn't eat. I got him a nice bone from the cook's tent.
Jason, it's 20 minutes of 3. Jerry's not here yet. He won't come without that dog.
Sure he will.
No, he won't, Jason. I know. He worships that dog. He'd give up the circus and everything for it. And you've got the dog, and he doesn't even know it. You've just got to find him, Jason.
Well, I've no idea where to look. Say, just a minute. Hey, taxi.
Taxi, mister?
Yeah, just a minute. Listen, Patsy, I'll cruise around town in that taxi for a few minutes. I might just happen to see him.
But, Jason...
Don't worry, I'll catch the train all right. You stay here and keep a lookout for Jerry. He might get back before I do.
Good luck. And, Jason, you might try the police station.
Quick, driver, step on it. Right through town.
From Hollywood, California, and an invasion base facing the coast of Europe, Autolite brings you Everything for the Boys, the Command Theater of the Air, starring Mr. Ronald Coleman, and his guest for tonight, Miss Olivia de Havilland. Everything for the Boys is presented by the Electric Autolite Company and its 22 great manufacturing plants. Builders of precision equipment for 35 years. World famous for Autolite spark plugs, batteries, wire, cable, and electrical systems for automobile, aviation, and marine use. Here is your host, Mr. Ronald Coleman.
Thank you and good evening. We cannot escape history. Dinosaurs crawled all over the ages. Airplanes moved through swiftly accelerated hours. And this morning's newspaper tells us that history is moving faster than ever. Too fast for that overfed, over-decorated, overconfident German who, not so long ago, was given to boasting...
Listen! It is Hermann Goering who tells you this. If so much as one bomb falls on German soil, you can call me Meyer. So call me Meyer.
Yes, we're dealing it out to Hermann Goering Meyer now. But there was a time it was the other way round. And our play tonight is set against those dark days. England in 1940, after Dunkirk. It's a story you will remember, I'm sure, as I know you will remember the performance of our lovely guest, Miss Olivia de Havilland. When the curtain falls, there are 2 Canadians overseas with whom we'll have a bit of conversation. And it is to them and to the armed forces abroad that we dedicate this global half hour.
Talk about surprises. The Japs had a real one handed to them last November 14th. It was recently revealed. The battleship South Dakota was steaming just off the Sable Islands in the Solomons. Suddenly, a swarm of 39 Jap planes swooped down. Easy pickings, they thought. And then the South Dakota began to speak for herself with all the eloquence in her mighty anti-aircraft batteries. 32 of the 39 Jap planes were shot out of the skies. The others limped home to tell Tojo the sad story. All our hearts beat with pride at the report of this engagement, and it's news like this that spurs our war production. So it is in Autolite's great plants. Some of them are turning out fuses for 40-millimeter anti-aircraft shells for Navy guns. Tiny as they are, the rotors, springs, pegs, firing pins, and timing devices Autolite builds are precision-made. Success in battle depends upon their accuracy in performance. The manufacture of these delicate and intricate mechanisms is another example that the name Autolite means precision manufacturing. The play, Major Eric Knight's This Above All, adapted from the 20th Century Fox production. The players, Mr. Ronald Coleman and his guest, Miss Olivia de Havilland.
Give up the fight. What can you look forward to? Only defeat. Your army has been destroyed at Dunkirk. Soon your country will be destroyed too. Soon our bombers will be over your cities, over London, over Manchester, over...
Lost that braggart. You know, them Jerrys make me mad.
Why? Because they may be right?
What's the matter? You're bloomin' moods again? Ah, look. Why don't you let yourself have some fun? I'm going over to the WAF camp. Got a date with Wiley. Why don't you come along, huh?
What for?
Oh, maybe she can get that other girl. The one you met the other night, you know?
Miss Prudence Catherway of Catherway Manor. Now slumming as a private in the WAF? No, thank you.
She's awful pretty. She seems to like you.
You go along with Violet. Two's company, you know.
Oh, but there won't be two, there'll be 4. Oh, come along. Now we're late.
Weren't Violet and her young man a little bit obvious? I mean, about leaving us alone.
Oh, I dare say Catherway Manor is more subtle about those things.
You're making distinctions again. But the rain isn't. My uniform is getting soaked.
Oh, what do the others do on a lovely night like this?
Oh, they find a tea shop or the back road to the cinema.
I expect all the back roads are full by now. How about that place? Over there, off the road.
That shed. Do you think...
Can't you ever forget your name is Prudence?
Should I?
I believe it's indicated. If you want to get dry. It's quite snug in here at that, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Quite.
Cold?
Little. But I don't mind.
Oh, that's silly. Look, I've got a flask.
No, thanks. I never touch it.
Oh, go on. Do you good. Here.
Well, just to get warm.
That's the way. How was it?
Wonderful.
I think I'll have a touch of the same.
Goes down easier for you.
Yeah, it should. Did you ever get blotto? Blind, unconscious blotto?
No. Did you?
Yeah, many times. Recently.
Why?
Why not?
Well, people generally have a reason for going blind, blotto, out, don't they?
I suppose so. Sorry we met?
No. But I'm sure my Aunt Iris wouldn't approve. She's a bit of a snob, I'm afraid. Very particular about my young men. Why aren't you in uniform?
Oh, never mind me. What about you?
Me? Oh, I've been living in camp. It gets lonely, you know. Just women.
Yeah, sometimes a man gets lonely, too. Sometimes he wants to hold a girl close, put his arms around her, feel her lips.
Oh, please. Please.
All right. Go ahead now. Act like they do at Catherway Manor. Tell me off for daring to kiss you.
No. As a matter of fact, I think I liked it. And I think I like you, Clive. I think I like you very much. Oh, I'm so glad I came. The country's beautiful, isn't it?
Beautiful?
That's a watercress farm we're passing. Did you know you can grow watercress on old pieces of flannel? One of our gardeners used to do it.
One of your gardeners?
We had 5.
Ah.
We didn't want them. The garden did.
5 gardeners.
No, I'm sure Aunt Iris wouldn't like you.
Oh, and I wouldn't like her. I know her type. The kind that loves England and detests Englishmen.
Really? You talk like one of those Hyde Park tub thumpers who go in for class hatred. My dear man, you're 25 years out of date. You're 2 wars behind.
The voice of England. The good old England that loves its horses and its cows and sheep because they'll never ask for a raise in pay.
Clive, why do you punish yourself? You ask me, how big is our house? How much land have we got? What does it matter?
Oh, it doesn't really. Nothing matters. We're on a holiday, and you're very beautiful.
Welcome back, Mr. Clive. Welcome back to the Coach and Horses. And welcome to you, miss.
Prue, this is old Ramsbottom I was telling you about. He owns the inn.
How do you do?
Do our rooms face the sea?
2 of the best, sir. We're fair empty the way they've been leaving today.
Your guests have been leaving.
The Jerrys were over Portsmouth last night, so the guests got sort of jittery, sir. Last one went this afternoon. Mrs. Catherway it was.
Catherway?
Mrs. Iris Catherway, Catherway Manor. Do you happen to know her, miss?
Well, you see...
Look, Ramsey, bring the bags in, will you?
Right, sir. I'll go and fetch them, sir.
Who was it, Prue? Aunt Iris?
Yes. When is the next train out?
tomorrow morning, I think. Why?
I'm going back.
Just because she was here? Just because she...
Please, Clive. Don't let's quarrel about it.
Oh, sorry.
If you'll excuse me now, I'll go up to my room. It's very committing. I'd like to get some sleep.
I know what you think. But I'm right, Monty. I'm right. Come on, you fool. There aren't any more.
Clive.
Smells good.
Clive.
Monty. Come on, you don't want to die here. You don't.
Clive, what is it?
Huh? Oh. Well, who's that?
It's me, Prue. The air raid warning woke me up. I heard you calling out.
Calling out? What was I saying?
Dreadful things. Clive, what is it? Why don't you tell me?
Oh, it's nothing, really. Sometimes when I get overtired, Hey, that act's pretty heavy, isn't it? We're in for a bit, I think.
Listen. You can hear the planes.
About 6 of them. Flying low.
How can you tell?
By the sound.
Where did you learn that? In France. You did, didn't you? You were in the army.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm out of it now.
You're wounded?
I was ill.
Oh, Clive. I'm so proud of you.
Proud?
I'm proud you were there. Clive, they're getting closer. I'm afraid I'm not very brave.
Oh, that's nonsense, darling. Of course you're brave.
No, I couldn't even stand up to Aunt Iris.
Aunt Iris? Now, there's a nice thought to carry with you through an air raid.
Funny how lovely and innocent a thing like this can be. And then suddenly someone mentions Aunt Iris, and it all seems sordid and shabby. That one was very close.
Oh, the closer the better. It's 1 chance in a million for 2 bombs to hit the same spot.
It was worse than this at Dunkirk, wasn't it? But it must have been 100 times worse. Clive.
Yes?
I'm so glad you were there.
Are you?
And I'm glad you're here now. Glad we're both here. Everything seems clean and fine again.
No Aunt Iris around?
I don't think I'm afraid of Aunt Iris anymore. Clive, I'm going to stay. Oh, darling. Why can't it always be like this? No one else. Just the 2 of us here by the sea.
I'll keep it this way for you, Prue. I'll make the sun stand still. The days won't have beginning or end. I'll make the moon and the stars and the...
Mr. Clive, Mr. Clive.
I believe I was a little optimistic. Over here, Ramsey, by the cliff.
Mr. Clive, there's a chap at the inn would like to see you. A fella in uniform.
Uniform?
Yeah, the King's Leicester Regiment, I think. Said just to tell you his name was Monty.
Well, Clive, this is a friend of yours. Hadn't you better go in?
I'll go. You stay here, Prue. If you don't mind, I'd like to see him alone.
Got to face it, Clive. Absence without leave is one thing, but desertion is another. He's like a month sick leave. Was up a week ago. Seeing we've been pretty good pals.
Oh, you can save it, Monty. I'm not going back.
Now let's talk sense, Clive. We all get sick and tired of it sometimes. Ready to clear out and quit, but when the time comes, we always go back. We go back and stand up and take more.
Monty, you don't understand. It's not what you're talking about. It's nothing to do with being afraid or tired or sleeping in the mud or going without food. It's something you can't even put into words.
I don't know what I'll tell the captain. Monty, sir? Monty, you're his pal. Go find him and bring him back. If he's not here by Monday, I'll have to post him as a deserter. He's too good a man to have his life ruined.
Yeah, I'm sure that's pretty kind of the captain.
I guess he hasn't forgotten what you did, John Crook. Put you up for a medal, you know.
I'm sorry. It's good of you to go to all this trouble, both of you, but I'm not going back.
Then my coming down here was useless.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. After all, you're going to meet Prue.
Clive, I liked your friend. He was nice, I thought. And very fond of you, too. Have you known him very long? Well, have you? Clive?
Oh, I'm sorry, dear.
Clive, what's wrong? You've been in such a mood all day, and Monty looked so worried when he left. What is it, Clive? Why don't you tell me?
Now, look, Prue, I just...
Please, I've got to know.
Well, it's about a friend of Monty's who joined the army the day the war began.
Yes?
He wanted to fight. He had ideals. Nice, bright, shining ideals. Well, they got a little tarnished along the way. His dreams, his hopes for England. He began to wish he could just forget them. And that made him quite a problem. To his pals, to himself.
Is Monty expected to answer his friend's problem?
Monty can't answer it.
Maybe not. He might ask his friend if it's the time to doubt and argue when his country is fighting for its life. But if we lost the war...
England might be changed.
Oh, Clive, that's terrible. You mustn't think such things. If England must be changed, let's do it ourselves. Let us decide it, not the enemy. Think, Clive. No, don't think. Don't ask your mind. Just ask your heart what England means.
I don't think with my heart. Well, why don't you tell me?
Oh, I don't know if I can. It's like pulling a flower apart to see what it's made of. England is Shakespeare and the discontent in Hyde Park and the kiss of Dover. Asters and bluebells and the sun and the fog. It's taxi horns and the bobbies and the sense of fair play we've given the world. It's you, Clive. Whatever you are, blood and bone, mind and heart and spirit, England made you, every part of you. That's why you've got to go back and fight, because that's England, too. Knowing that we'll never give in. Knowing that we won't be beaten. We won't. We just won't.
This is goodbye, Prue. I have to write it because I couldn't say it. I'll be gone when you get this in the morning. That's only fair to you. I don't know where I'm going. I don't think I care. But our coming from the darkness into the light of knowing each other was very, very sweet. Yours, Clive. Oh, Prue, darling, goodbye.
We'll have to stay off the street in a rain. Pretty dangerous out here.
Dangerous?
It looks that it's been overpriced tonight. No telling what they'll do. What? Yes, Holly, right here. Number 42, direct hit. Well, it looks pretty bad. 42. Family named Prue and 2 women and a child. Did you get them out? Couldn't get the kid. The mother's hair going off a beam. Yelling and screaming and trying.
You mean the child still in there?
He's in the cellar, sir.
Well, why don't you get him out?
We can't, sir. We tried. Couldn't get through the flames.
But you mean you're just leaving the poor kid down there?
Happens that way sometimes, sir. Enough to make a man wish it. So, Mr. Wait. Come back. You can't get in there. You can't.
kept saying your name, miss, over and over. And in his pocket we found a letter he hadn't posted.
Thank you, Doctor. May I go in now?
Oh, just a moment.
Clive.
Prue, you're here.
Don't try to talk, darling.
Prue, I'm going back. I've made up my mind. It's all clear now. I love you, darling. I love you very much.
Clive.
I'm afraid he can't hear you now.
Doctor.
Don't be afraid. And if you tomorrow, I'd like to give the bride away myself.
Oh.
Monty left these cigarettes, Clive, for a wedding present. Said he'd get something permanent after a while.
Good old Monty.
And the captain was by where you were sleeping. He said he needed you to get well soon. He left a book for you.
A book?
Shakespeare, because you're such a highbrow.
You know, Prue, all that time after I left you, I kept walking and walking. I seemed to be two men struggling against each other, heart and mind. And the mind was always stronger.
Until a child needed help.
One little Englishman who had to be saved. Nothing else seemed important.
Nothing else was. Listen to that. Here we go again.
They don't leave us alone, do they?
Very warning, miss. You'll have to go. Nurse, I'd rather stay here with my husband.
Oh, darling, you must go.
Nonsense. I always feel safest with you. But miss...
I'm afraid she's very stubborn, nurse.
Very well, but you shouldn't be here. Poor soul. She doesn't understand. Now, sir, we've got another air raid to talk our way through. Shall we start with Aunt Iris?
Oh, heaven forbid. Prue, I wish you'd read to me.
Shakespeare?
Well, why not?
There's a bit in Hamlet I've always loved. First act, I think. This above all. To thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day.
Thou canst not then be false to any man.
You have just heard Mr. Ronald Coleman and Miss Olivia de Havilland in Eric Knight's This Above All, dramatized for radio by Harry Conman. Gordon Jenkins composed and conducted the original music, and direction was by Arch Oboler. In a moment, Mr. Coleman and Miss de Havilland will return to speak by shortwave radio with two Canadian fighting men somewhere in England. But first, a word for you. Hot weather can be hard on car batteries. And now, with gasoline rationing, lower driving speeds, and few miles of driving, frequent and regular inspection of your battery should be a must. So have your car dealer, serviceman, or any one of the thousands of Autolite battery dealers check your car battery at least once each month. It's a good habit and will help you avoid the three major causes of battery failure: low water level, undercharging, and overcharging. When you drive in, ask for Autolite's 4-point battery checkup. Your dealer or serviceman will take a reading of the battery charge, check the water level, remove corrosion from the terminals, and tighten down the bracket. And take his advice if he says you need a new battery. Ask for an Autolite, the battery built for long life and dependable power. The battery that is the choice of many leading automotive engineers for the cars they once built and for the fighting equipment they are building today. Remember, the name Autolite means precision manufacturing.
And now, Olivia, let's be on our way to an invasion base facing Europe.
That makes me feel just like a shortwave commando.
Well, we'll be dropping in on a couple of Canadians who have been fighting for several years. A timely visit, too, because Canada is again proving its staunch support of her fighting men through the 6th Victory Loan Drive.
Coleman, we're starting the search to England. Ready, sir?
All right, Olivia, put on this earphone.
Earphone on.
And we're off. This is Ronald Coleman and Olivia de Havilland calling a base in England. This is Hollywood calling. Come in, fellows.
Hello, Hollywood. This is Petty Officer George Caswell of the Royal Canadian Navy speaking.
Greetings, George.
Shake hands across the sea, Mr. Coleman.
Is that you, Private Crozier?
Yes, sir. Private Earl Crozier in person.
How are you, boys?
Okay, and how are you, Mr. Haviland?
Well, how am I? I'm excited.
You're excited. You want to see us over here.
Well, we know how you feel. Even at this distance, we're all holding our breath for D-Day.
That's going to be a great day, Mr. Coleman.
And it's going to be our day, United Nations Day.
Right. Now, we have news from home for you. George, we called your mother in Victoria, British Columbia. She's in fine health, and she sends a message.
Here it is in her own words. Longing to see you, look after yourself, and hurry home. And she has a postscript. It tells George, I'm just like a lot of mothers, and you'll have to finish the job over there first.
Father, that's just what we're doing.
And, George, your father says you're just the man to do it.
Did I say that, Mr. Coleman? I'd like to tell you and everybody else about George, the older. That's my father.
Go right ahead.
Dad served 27 years and 10 months with the Royal Navy and won 8 medals. Then he retired. When this war broke out, he joined right up again, this time with the Royal Canadian Navy. He's the chief petty officer at Victoria Barracks. So you see, I've got quite a record to shoot at.
But your mother said you're a chip off the old block, but you're making your own records and have already got 2 medals.
Well, I lost those and almost lost myself a few days ago. My destroyer, HMCS Athabaskan, was sunk in this channel on April the 29th.
Can you tell us anything about it, George?
Well, I was on the bridge, and then suddenly I was in the water. I had quite a bath for a while, but they fished me out, and I'm quite safe and happy now. Next time I cross the channel, I want to head right to the shore on the other side with the rest of the boys.
Yes. Well, George, we know you've been away for a long time, and while we can't bring you home, we thought perhaps we could bring a little of home to you. You were a farmer before you became a sailor, so for a couple of seconds, see if this reminds you of that farm on Wolf Island in Ontario where you used to work. Olivia, will you oblige? All right. That was Olivia de Havilland's idea of a barnyard. How was that, George?
Say, Mr. Coleman, I could smell the hay.
You could smell the hay.
And you, Earl Crozier, we got in touch with your wife in Toronto, and she wants you to know that she's listening to this broadcast, and the whole family is delighted to hear your voice again.
Well, after being away from Canada for 4.5 years, including action in Sicily and Italy, it's wonderful to be able to say hello to home, especially to my wife, Dorothy, and my little girl, Linda.
You've never seen your daughter, have you, Earl?
No, sir, I've never seen Linda. She was born shortly after I went to war.
But your wife says Linda has blue eyes, really curly blonde hair, and looks like her father.
Poor kid.
And Linda tells everyone that she looks just like Daddy, so she knows you'll recognize her when you come home.
Yes, Earl. We wish we could have brought you and Linda together, but at least we know that she is listening in and she's hearing your voice for the first time.
Gosh, I don't know what to say except, well, Linda, baby, this is your daddy. You're 4 years old now, and I guess you understand why we haven't seen each other all this time. There's a good reason. At least what's to come out of it will be good for you, Linda. I hope to get into the big show and help finish it up quick so I can see you. And, honey, I don't think we'll have any trouble recognizing each other. I'd know you anywhere in the world.
Linda will never forget that message, Earl.
Time's up, Mr. Coleman.
All right, thank you. Well, that's all for now, men. Best of luck to you.
Thanks, Mr. Coleman, and to all the people in Canada. You keep buying those war bonds, and we'll keep investing in them the best way we know how, for victory.
And that's a sure thing, too. Good night, everybody, and to you, Dorothy and Linda.
Good night, men.
Good night, and God bless you.
Next week, Autolite cordially invites you to another program of Everything for the Boys, your new global half hour uniting the home front and the battle fronts overseas. Your host, Mr. Ronald Coleman, will have as his guest Miss Loretta Young. in the radio premiere of Blithe Spirit, adapted by Arch Oboler, and dedicated to a pair of fighting Yanks who will speak by shortwave from their base in New Guinea.
Our thanks to Olivia de Havilland. Until next week, when Loretta Young will be our guest, this is Ronald Coleman saying good night to you and the boys, and God be with you.
Presenting The Whisperer, starring Carlton Young. The Whisperer, a brilliant man who, losing his voice in an accident which crushed his vocal cords, worked his way deep within the crime syndicate to help destroy it from within. To the underworld, his familiar rattling hiss is the voice of authority, to be obeyed without question. Then a miracle of surgery performed by Dr. Benjamin Lee restored his natural voice, enabling him to resume his real identity. Now, as Philip Gauld, aggressive young attorney, he skirts the thin edges of death, living his dual role. For as the Whisperer, he sets in motion the forces of the syndicate in Central City. Then, as Philip Gauld, uses his knowledge to fight the organized network of crime which seeks to control the fate of millions in cities and towns across the nation. Now we find Philip Gauld in a phone booth, speaking in the voice of the Whisperer, making his report to a superior in the syndicate.
Hello, New York. Madden given instructions. Will report progress.
Sue?
Yes, I see you're not.
They have a special here today. 25 cents for a super banana split. Okay, I'm through. And you're just in time.
No, for what?
To pay the bill. What a bargain you got, Phil. It's only 25 cents.
Did I enjoy it? That'll take care of it. Let's go.
What are you so grumpy about?
I'm not grumpy.
Sneezy, then?
What?
Are you sleepy or dark? Which one of the 7 poor?
Oh, I'm worried.
I'm sorry. Making jokes. What is it, Phil?
Trouble. Let's get in the car. I'll drive you back to Dr. Lee's office so you can earn your salary.
Now tell me, what horrible instructions did you give your syndicate henchmen?
The record truck.
And now you've got to stop it.
Yes.
Playing footsie again. Pass along the murder orders and try to stop them from being carried out.
Yes, try.
How long, Phil?
Till they're smashed.
Not by you?
By me, by the law, by the government, by every means possible. Ellen, the syndicate is moving into every line of business. They put their grubby fingers into every kind of work. Take pennies out of piggy banks and $1,000 bills out of safety deposit boxes.
But, Phil...
Without knowing it, you'll keep them alive. Maybe when you buy a paper. Maybe when you eat a banana split. Wherever you go, whatever you do, they've got themselves into legitimate businesses. Fronts, expanding their interests all the time.
All right, Phil.
Trying to do something about it.
All right.
I'm sorry I blew off steam.
I asked for it.
They're in the insurance business now.
For real?
For real. Honest to goodness insurance. They're using their usual strong-arm methods to get business.
Wrecking a truck?
Yes, because the trucking company won't buy insurance from them.
I see. Here we are, Phil. Want to come up?
I can't.
Guess I have to buy my own dinner tonight, eh?
I'll call you later.
Oh, I almost forgot. In the drugstore, you wanted those special flashlight batteries.
Oh, yeah, thanks. The flashlight's in the glove compartment.
A funny kind of flashlight. Shall I open it?
I can do it.
There's nothing to it.
Ellen.
Uh-huh.
You'll be late.
Plenty of time.
I know why you're sitting here.
Why?
Because you're worried. Thanks, sweetheart.
Smart fella.
Sure, it's dangerous, but I can take care of myself.
I know, but darn. The flashlight doesn't work.
Yes, it does.
Well, it doesn't. Never saw a contraption like this. Must put it in wrong or something. Pressing a button, but it doesn't light.
In the glove compartment.
What?
Those glasses.
Oh, the red one?
That's right. Put them on.
Well?
Now flash the light.
Oh, now it works.
Mm-hmm. It's an infrared light. You can only see it with those special glasses. It'll light up in the dark. Only you can't see the light or what it lights up unless you have those glasses on.
Still, another gadget.
Clever, isn't it?
Yes, but I wish that...
What?
Nothing. I wish I were a gadget. Maybe you'd pay more loving attention to me.
I'll call you later. We can look into it. After dropping Ellen at her office, Phil drove to the north side of Central City, down Maryville Street, until he saw the unpainted wooden building with the sign over the entrance, Ace Trucking Company. J. Stevens, president and general manager, and M. Coffey, vice president and treasurer. He parked behind an ancient truck and went up the wooden stairs. The door was open and he went in. He stood there for a moment in the front office, and then the door to the inner room opened.
Yeah? My name is Golf. What can I do for you? Got some eggs to haul, some cantaloupes, machinery? No. Yeah, just as well. Couldn't handle it anyway. Well, what can I do for you?
It's a pretty big business you run here.
Yeah, we get by.
How many trucks do you have?
2. Why?
How many employees?
None. The bosses are the employees. I'm Stevens. My partner is Coffey. We run the business and the trucks.
Uh-huh.
What's on your mind?
Mr. Stevens, I'm going to be frank with you.
Why?
Because I may save your life.
My life? What is this?
I'm an attorney. I want you for a client.
I'm sorry, I don't need you.
Now, hold on. This isn't going to cost you anything.
Probably worth that much, too. I still don't need you.
Going on a haul tonight, aren't you?
So?
A long haul. To California.
Go on. What else?
By Route 42.
I'm all ears, Counselor.
If I were your counselor, I'd advise you not to take Route 42.
Yeah, but you're not, and I'm going to take it.
If I were your counselor, you'd have come to me when somebody tried to force you to buy their insurance. Wouldn't you?
Seems as though you know an awful lot about my business. What'd you say your name was?
Galt.
Hey, Galt. Well, Galt, I still say you're not my counselor, and since I'm not paying you for advice, I don't see why I should take any from you.
I told you why. Because it'll probably save your life. The people who were trying to sell you insurance are a group called the Syndicate.
What? Well, now I've heard everything. This was an insurance company, Galt, a real insurance company, not a bunch of gangsters.
Will you do me one favor?
Probably not.
Don't take Route 42. It's a setup. They know you're going to California with a load. They know you're leaving tonight. They're going to wreck your truck.
Nobody's going to pressure me, Galt.
They're going to try it.
I'm talking about you.
Me?
Yeah, you. How do you know so much about this operation? Where do you get your information? You must be part of this syndicate you're talking about.
It just happens.
Yeah, it just happened. On your way, Galt. Vamoose. I met tougher guys than you around a campfire toasting marshmallows.
Now, look.
I'm busy. I got to pick up my load. You go on back and tell your outfit I ain't interested in insurance or protection either, which is what you're trying to sell me. They're a lousy salesman, Galt. I don't buy a word of what you said.
Dr. Lee's office.
Ellen.
Oh, hello, Phil. What's the good word? Calling me for a date?
No, sorry, Ellen.
You're having trouble?
Plenty. The Ace Trucking Company isn't in the market for advice. Won't listen to me.
What are you going to do, Phil?
Try to stop it, sweetheart.
Oh.
I'm going along for the ride.
But if they won't listen, they won't let you near the truck.
The driver won't know it, but when he pulls out tonight, I'll be in the back of his truck with his load of heavy machinery.
Well, you can't do any good back there. And if the syndicate wrecks the truck, if they threaten you...
I'll be in the cab of the truck trying to talk the driver into stopping before that happens.
But Phil...
I'll be careful, darling. Call you later. That evening, as the ancient truck reached the open road outside Central City, highballing for California, Phil worked his way forward between the huge crates of machinery in the rear of the truck and knocked on the window and the doors separating him from the cab.
Hey, what's the... Oh, the syndicate counselor. Come on, get out of there.
I can't. I'm stuck against these crates. Yeah, open that plastic door.
All right, come on, climb over the seat.
All right.
Thanks. Yeah, mighty crowded back there between those crates.
All right, Counselor, better have a good explanation.
I'll do the talking. Just keep your eye on the road and cut your speed.
I got a long way to go, and I ain't cutting nothing. I don't believe you, Galt. I don't trust you. Anything that happens to me is going to happen to you in spades.
I came of my own free will, Stevens. You didn't force me. Keep your eye on the road, I tell you. I don't know how they're figuring to wreck this truck, but it'll be soon.
Yeah, well, I ain't cutting my speed. You got an idea you can lead me into trouble, you ain't going to do it. You can do all the talking you like. It ain't going to make no difference to me.
All right, just keep watching the road.
And better not try any tricks.
Now, look, it'll probably be something on the highway. Maybe a barricade of some kind. Or maybe somebody thumbing a ride. Don't stop for anybody.
I don't stop anyhow.
Or another truck coming alongside, forcing you off the road.
You got them all figured out, huh?
Keep your eyes on the road, man.
One of them. The other I got to keep on you.
Are you married?
Yeah.
How did your wife put up with you? I never saw anybody so stubborn and obstinate in my life.
Yeah, you're pretty much of a bulldog with an idea yourself.
There it is, the barricade. Now, you're going too fast. Hang on. You can't stop now. Go through. Go through.
You are listening to The Whisperer, the story of Philip Galt, who skirts the thin edges of death, living his dual role. As the Whisperer, Phil Galt had passed on the syndicate's instructions to a man he knew only as Madden. Instructions to wreck one of the Ace Trucking Company's trucks. And then, as Philip Galt, attorney, he tried to warn one of the owners of the company. Failing to convince the trucker that he was headed for danger on Highway 42, Phil secreted himself inside the truck and just barely made his way up to the cab in time to put Stevens on the alert. But it didn't stop the barreling truck. It took a barricade on the road to do that.
Hold that wheel steady. We're going into the ditch. Hang on. You okay?
Yeah, okay. You?
Yeah. Stevens.
What?
You insured?
Yeah, but not with Cato Underwriters. Come on, let's see how much damage.
Shot!
Shooting at us.
Unless you see some other squirrels around.
Hey, they took the key.
I tried to tell you. Better get out of here. Sitting ducks. Come on. Make to those trees.
I'm behind you.
Maybe I made a mistake about the constable. Maybe you did. It might be a costly mistake. Down.
Well, the shooting stopped anyway. Hey, the truck. On fire. Get them, the dirty robbing thieves.
Take it easy, Stephen.
Work yourself to death, scrape a few pennies together to buy a couple of trucks, go into business, and then somebody muscles in.
You said you were insured?
Yeah. For the load, but not for the truck. It's too old. Figured I'd get away with liability. Costs more than I paid for the truck the way they got insurance costing these days.
I see.
Yeah, that sounded like they took off.
They did their job.
Now what? Now what, Constable?
Want my professional advice?
Yeah.
Get a new truck, a brand new truck. One of my clients has been after me for a safe investment. You interested?
How safe?
He's more interested in the people in the business than in their assets.
Yeah, but how safe? I'm still not in the market for the kind of insurance they sell.
And I'm not selling it. But right now, we better see about stopping that fire.
Phil. Oh, you look.
As if I'd been through fire and brimstone? Through fire, anyway.
Are you all right?
Kind of tired, but all here. Have you dinner?
Uh-huh.
Well, I didn't. I'm starved.
How about a sandwich?
Wonderful.
What happened, Phil?
They got the truck burned to a cinder.
And the driver?
He's all right.
You're sure you're all right?
Just hungry.
Come on in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm. All right if I use your phone?
Of course. I have sandwiches in the refrigerator.
Oh, operator, I want long distance. New York, circle 1798. Ring me when the call's ready, will you? Thanks.
Here, Phil. Some coffee?
Milk, if you have some.
Sure. How did it happen, Phil?
A roadblock. Then they shot at us. Then they burned the truck.
Did they get a look at you?
Madden might have seen me, I don't know.
You don't know. Phil, if he did and he ever sees you again...
It wouldn't take the syndicate long to figure out that Phil Galt is also the Whisperer.
Phil, how long do you think you can go on keeping your double life a secret from everyone but me and Dr. Lee?
Those are the chances I have to take, sweetheart.
Is Madden from out of town?
I wish I knew. All I know about this setup is the insurance company the syndicate runs is called Cato Underwriters. There's my call.
Hello? Central City? Right. Mission accomplished. Ace Trucking refuse to buy again, he will shoot to kill.
Phil,
If Stevens refuses to buy the insurance, he'll be murdered.
will he buy?
No.
You've got to make him, Phil.
I can't interfere that way, and I don't think it would make any difference if I tried. He's as stubborn as...
Have you?
Almost.
Oh, this is serious, Phil. You can't let Stevens be murdered in cold blood.
No, Ellen, I can't. And right now, I don't know how to stop it.
Without telling Phil Galt her plans, Ellen determined to find out if she could whether Madden had seen Phil, whether Madden would be able to identify Phil. For if the syndicate once learned that Phil Galt was also the Whisperer, they would arrange to have him killed in a matter of hours. And so, on her lunch hour, Ellen walked to the Ellsworth building and took the elevator up to the 8th floor.
Yes, miss? May I help you?
I wanted to get some insurance on my car.
Of course. Won't you sit down?
Cato Underwriters was recommended to me.
Oh?
I was told to ask for a man by the name of Madden.
Madden?
That's right.
Now, who could that be? Madden. I'm afraid I don't know any Madden. Are you sure?
Positive.
Anything wrong, Collins?
Oh, Mr. Palermo, this young woman is asking for a man by the name of Madden.
I see. Will you come with me, please?
It's a simple matter. I just want to insure my car.
I'll write it up for you in my office, huh? You know, it's odd, but Cato Underwriters have branches in all the large cities, and I myself just arrived here the other day. And I know a man with our company by the name of Madden in Richmond, Virginia. Oh, please sit down, Miss...
Norris.
Miss Norris. It's strange you should ask for him.
Oh, I don't know if it's the same Mr. Madden, but Mr.
Palermo.
Mr. Palermo, I was recommended to Mr. Madden.
Oh, who recommended him, Miss Norris?
A friend.
A friend, yes. What's his name?
Her name.
All right, what's her name?
Susie.
Susie who?
Mr. Palermo, I don't see where it makes much difference who Susie is or why she was recommended to me. Does it?
No. It just struck me as being peculiar.
Do I get some insurance for my car?
Yes, of course, of course. You see, Madden came into town with me, Miss Norris, and he hasn't been selling any insurance. Not to anybody by the name of Susie, anyway.
Mr. Palermo, I'm a working girl. I only get an hour for lunch.
Who do you work for?
I really don't see that it makes much difference.
Maybe I can give you a lift back to work.
No, thank you. Now, if you can tell me where I can see Mr. Madden, or when he'll be here.
Insurance, eh?
Insurance.
All right, Miss Norris, if you'll tell me where Madden can reach
I'm a
you.
nurse. It's Dr. Benjamin B. Mr. Madden can call there.
Yes, I'll tell him. And maybe you and I can take up some of these other details at another time.
It was 2 o'clock when Phil Galt reached the Ace Trucking Company's offices. The front door was open and he walked in, but nobody was there. He sat down in a hard-back chair, tilted it so that his feet could find support on the rickety desk, and waited. And it was 4:30 when footsteps came up the wooden stairs and Stevens came in.
Oh, hello, Counselor. Hey, Counselor, wake up.
Oh, you're a fine picture of a young, wide-awake attorney. Sleeping like a baby. Don't you have any problems?
No, few.
They don't bother you.
Appearances are deceptive. I keep them locked up in here.
That's just indigestion. What's the good word?
Just what I was going to ask you.
No good word. I've been to every bank in the city. I can't raise a thin dime. My credit is stretched so far, it's worse than a size 32 girdle on the Circus fat lady.
You didn't go to the right bank.
Oh?
Here.
What's this for?
Made out to be Ace Trucking Company, isn't it?
That's not what's bothering me. It's the amount.
Mm-hmm. I had to scrape the barrel a little.
A little? $16,423.
That includes tax, licenses, and insurance. And not with Cato Underwriters.
What's the gag?
No gag. I told you. A friend of mine is always looking for good investments, and he listens to me.
You said you had to scrape the barrel.
My best friend. Myself.
Well, you could buy this whole company for $500.
What good would that do me? I know truckers.
Well, of course, we built up some goodwill. How much interest in the company you want for this?
10%.
I don't get it.
You don't have to understand, Stevens. I live my life on hunches. I think you'll do okay. I want to invest in you. When the business can afford it, you can pay me back for the truck.
Counselor, you got yourself a couple of partners. Little money finds out. 16. Hey, that's the big one. You must have priced it.
I did. Now listen.
I'll listen all night. Those words you keep saying are like music.
You're going to get a visitor.
Who?
Someone to sell you insurance. Cato underwriters.
I'm not having any.
Ain't you, Stevens?
What? Ain't you having any? Is that the same gun I heard last night? The very same. All right, wise guy. How do you know so much?
I've heard about Cato underwriters, and I heard nothing good.
I don't like your attitude. And I don't know where you fit in. But I'm going to find out.
It's easy. I'll tell you. I know how you operate. Madden.
How do you know who I am?
Stevens.
Sir, Counselor. Look at me. His gun. Yeah. Let's go.
Okay, drop the gun.
Bastard. I'll be picking lead out of your ears. Counselor, you okay?
Yeah. Actually, he shot himself. Barrel turned in when he pulled the trigger.
You didn't touch the gun. I hit his wrist.
Sure.
Is he dead?
Yeah. Better sit down, Stevens. You're not toasting marshmallows now.
You really think he meant to shoot?
Yes, I do.
I ain't going to ask you a lot of questions, Counselor. I just want to thank you. Not only for the truck.
That's right, the truck. Look, we better get the police over here. They're going to want to know all about this. Call Lieutenant Denver's at homicide. But you can do me a favor.
Anything.
Leave me out of it, unless it's absolutely necessary.
Okay, will do.
After you get through, want to take a look at your new truck?
Is it ready for delivery?
As soon as you pick out what color you want. Meet me at the corner of Broad and 7th. Say, 8 o'clock?
I'll be waiting there for you.
Doc, this is Phil.
Yes, Phil.
Is Ellen there?
No, she left an hour ago. Said she had an appointment.
An appointment? Did she happen to mention what it was about?
No, she didn't. Anything wrong? Something I can do?
No, thanks, Doc. Nothing wrong. I hope.
What's that?
Nothing, Doc. Thanks. I'll call her at home.
No answer at Ellen's apartment. Phil was a little concerned, but then he thought perhaps Ellen had gone shopping or she was on her way home. He felt a little restless, a little uneasy. He drove to his office, but there was no message from her there. He called her apartment again. $7:00. She should be home. She wouldn't have gone away without leaving word for him. She couldn't be shopping this late. Phil drove to keep his appointment with Stevens at the corner of Broad and 7th.
Hey, it's the pig job, Counselor. You sure you don't want to change your mind? I still got the check.
No, you go on in, Stevens.
Something wrong?
No. Everything go all right with Lieutenant Denver?
Oh, yeah. Hey, funny thing, this Madden guy's from out of town. And, he don't work for Cato Underwriters. He don't work for them at all.
I didn't think they'd admit he did. Cato... Look, Stevens, carry on, huh? I've got to check up on something.
Cato Underwriters?
I'm looking for someone. Thought you might be able to help me.
Certainly, sir.
I'm looking for a woman by the name of Ellen Norris. Do you know whether she's in today?
Well, quite a few women came in during the day, sir. I'm not quite sure I can answer that for you.
Blonde hair, blue eyes, about 5'2".
Sorry.
She might have been looking for a man by the name of Madden.
Yes, I believe such a woman was here. But we don't have any Madden working for us. I turned her over to Mr. Palermo.
Palermo, huh? I see. Thanks.
Hello?
Ellen?
Yes?
You all right?
Yes?
Can't talk?
No.
I'm coming up.
No.
It's all right, sweetheart. Palermo there?
Yes. Goodbye.
Just hold everything, sweetheart. I'll be there.
What makes you think Phil Gulp will come here?
That was him on the phone a little while ago, wasn't it?
No. It was a friend of mine, a girl.
You're a pretty good actress, sweetheart, but not good enough. No two women in the world ever held a conversation as short as that. Yes, no, goodbye.
But I tell you
that was him, all right. And when he gets here, I'll give him a real warm reception.
But I told you, Phil's out of town. He won't...
Certainly. I'm beginning to get the idea all around. And knowing so much about what goes on. My partner, Madden, getting his on the Ace trucking deal.
The lights. What happened?
Fuse must have blown or something. Now just stay where you are, sweetheart. Got a match?
No.
Drop the gun, Palermo.
Hey, you see, sweetheart, I told you we'd show. What do you figure to do in the dark, Mr. Galt?
It may be dark for you, Palermo, but not for me.
Who are you kidding? You a cat or something?
I've got you in the beam of an infrared flashlight. I can see you as plain as day. Drop the gun.
Well, if you can see so good, I guess you can see this.
Take your hands off her, Palermo.
You what? Go ahead, shoot. Maybe you'll shoot straight enough to hit her.
I might have figured you used her as a shield.
Meantime, a couple of pot shots in the direction of the kitchen door might just hit you.
No, look out, darling.
I guess you don't have cat's eyes, Palermo. You missed a mile.
Yes? Well, suppose I shoot what I can't miss. Suppose I shoot your girl here.
Bill.
I'm all right, darling. I had to shoot him before he pulled the trigger on you.
All right, you're on. Bill, he was waiting for you. He wanted to kill you. He came from Richmond with Madden. I went up to him.
Easy, sweetheart, easy. I know.
Then he called me at the office. He was waiting for me outside with a gun. He made me come here to wait for you.
Easy, darling.
Oh, Bill.
It's been a hectic day.
Uh-huh.
I noticed it didn't spoil your appetite.
Oh, but it did. I only had one helping of Terry Jubilee.
Hey, that's right. Maybe because you had a double sirloin steak.
Do you think that could be why?
My considered opinion. Ellen.
Yes, dear.
Those lights in your apartment. All you have to do is take out a penny from the socket of your light over the stove, then replace the fuse. I left the kitchen window open in the back where I crawled in.
I'll take care of the fuse in the morning.
If you want to use the lights tonight, won't you?
Will I, darling?
Huh?
Oh, aren't you going to come up for a while? Just to say goodnight?
Oh.
Oh, that's what I love about you, dear. You're so romantic.
Hello, New York. Madden and Palermo killed. Local police investigating. Cato underwriters here. Recommend closing Central City office immediately.
We will consider your recommendation. For further instructions, call Seattle at midnight.
Seattle at midnight. A whisper.
The Whisperer is based upon stories and characters created by Stetson Humphrey. Any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. Carlton Young is starred as the Whisperer, Betty Moran as Ellen. Others in the cast were Julius Kralbein, Herb Ellis, Jim Nuster, and James Bush. The Whisperer was written by Jonathan Twice, produced and directed by Bill Karn, original music by Johnny Duffy. This is Don Rickles inviting you to listen next week to another exciting adventure with
The Whisperer.
It's the Silver Jubilee on NBC. Today, join in the fun with screen actor Walter Brennan as Grandpa Vanderhoff, the leader of the lovable, laughable Vanderhoff family, on You Can't Take It With You. Then hear Mr. Moto, ace Japanese-American security agent, working to stop those who had plunged the world into another war. Later, there's fun and prizes with genial Phil Baker as he asks that all-important $64...
The Mummers in the Little Theater of the Air.
Now, the Hermit.
Ghost stories, weird stories, murder
Turn out your lights. Turn them out. Have you heard the story, The Blackness of Terror? Then listen while the hermit tells you the story.
It was 1 week ago today that Paul and I received a telegram about Papa. And since that hour, my life, my thoughts, my feelings have been deeply altered. I have learned the results of the blackness of terror, the hideousness of sin, and the horror of madness. On Wednesday last, about 10 p.m., a telegram was delivered to me. Who on earth can be sending me a wire?
Who else but your father?
But Papa always calls.
Well, before you open it, we're not going to Blue Acres this weekend. We haven't had one weekend to ourselves since we were married.
Oh, Paul, it is Papa.
I knew it.
No, you don't understand. Here.
Your father's seriously ill. Suggest you come at once. Dr. Laurie.
Papa.
Oh, now take it easy, Marlene.
He's never been ill a day in his life.
Your father's getting along in years, darling. You can't expect him not to have some bad days.
But Dr. Laurie says seriously ill, and he's usually terribly conservative. We must start at once. Oh, please understand me. I love my husband, Paul, very much. But up until the time I married, I had never left my father's side. We'd been inseparable. Ever since that dreadful morning when, as a little girl of 8 years, my papa had taken me on his lap, and after kissing me tenderly and brushing the curls back from my forehead, he had said,
"Little doll, your papa has something very sad to tell you. But you must be very brave, my darling. Your mother has left us. She has written this note to inform us."
To Terence and Marlene. Life here at Blue Acres has grown intolerable for me. You're a little child, Marlene, and therefore I cannot explain some things to you. But Terence will know why I'm leaving. My little girl, try to think kindly of your mother. I would take you with me if I could, but that is impossible just now. Your father is a wealthy man, and he can give you fine things. I know at Blue Acres you will grow up to be a lady of whom I shall always be proud, and a daughter whom I will love forever.
Do not cry, my little doll. Had your mother loved you, she would never have left you. From this day forward, there'll be no mention of her name in this house. To us, she is dead.
It was some years later that I learned that my beautiful mother had left Papa and me and had run away with Philip Court, a chap the townspeople said was a worthless dauber in paint. Nothing was ever heard of my mother or him after they left Blue Acres. Nor did my father, Terence Lane, ever mention her name. He devoted his life to me. I had private tutors that came to Blue Acres to instruct me, the very best. Papa imported a master of the piano to teach me. We remained aloof from the world. The only woman in the household beside myself was Mrs. Beaton. Father always did the cleaning of the house, for Blue Acres is filled with priceless treasures. And when I would laugh at him dusting, he would always remark,
Can't let her clumsy fingers touch this vase. It's worth $1,000 if it's worth a penny.
The years moved on, and I lived in a world of my father's creation, until this last summer when I was 21 years old. One glorious summer night when the moon made golden patterns on the terraced lawns of Blue Acres, and the waters of the colored fountains centered in the ground shot a million rainbow lights into the night, when the French doors of the music room were opened wide to let the cool night air enter in. I sat at the piano, playing the works of one of my favorite composers, Debussy. not fond of Debussy, and as soon as I began playing, he got up from his chair and went to his study. But the haunting melancholy of Debussy suited me. It was a background to my dreaming, and the somehow lonely feeling of my heart that was growing stronger as the years wore on, with only Papa for my companion. I went on playing. And then suddenly I was aware of the presence of another in the room. I felt it strongly even before I turned around.
Oh, please go on. It's beautiful. Suited to a night like this. Please.
I'm sorry, but I
don't be sorry. I'm the one who owes you an apology for my intrusion. I'm Paul Wilde. I'm spending my vacation at the Truesdales who live down the road a ways.
Oh, yes.
They told me there was a princess living at Blue Acres. But they didn't do you justice, young lady. No princess was ever quite so fair or lovely as you.
Please, Mr. Wilde.
The Truesdales also added that a dragon named Terence Lane guards the Princess Marlene with his life.
That was very unjust.
Really? Well, then, if you're not zealously guarded, how about taking a stroll with me? The night is wonderful. And if you're good, I'll reach up and pick you a necklace of stars to wear.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wilde.
You won't go?
It's late.
And Papa would object?
No.
Well, then, with your kind permission, I'll call tomorrow afternoon to gain his consent for a date tomorrow night. Do I have your permission?
Well, yes.
Fine. Then do something for me now, will you?
If I can.
Play something for me as I walk away. Shall we have something light and joyous this time? Something more in tune with the happiness in store for you and me. I'll be listening for our theme song.
Paul Wilde. Only those deeply in love can understand what I mean when I say it was adoration on sight. I knew that from that second until eternity, there would be none other for me than Paul. And true to his word, he was at Blue Acres the next afternoon, asking Father's consent for an evening with me. I didn't hear their conversation, but I did hear from Papa later.
My dear, I'm an old man, wise in the ways of the world. I've spent my entire life protecting you from the vulgar of this world, the worthless. Had I protected your mother more carefully, there never would have been the scandal in this house caused by her treacherous act.
But Papa...
I have already called into the city. This Paul Wilde is nothing but a simple clerk with poor wages.
Is there never to be anyone for me?
Of course, when the time comes. But this is not the time.
I had never disobeyed my father, but I did so that night. I sent Paul a note, and we met at midnight in the gardens of Blue Acres.
My Marlene.
Say it again, Paul. It sounds so wonderful. I've never had anyone but Papa speak my name with love.
My Marlene. I have a lifetime of love to give you. A heart bursting with love for you. Do you love me, my darling?
Oh, yes, Paul.
Say it.
I love you. Oh, I love you.
And now say this. I love you enough to leave Blue Acres and marry you, Paul.
I love you enough to leave. Oh, Paul, I can't. I can't do that to Papa.
Must you give up your life to him?
No, but to leave him as Mother did.
Then will you let me go out of your life?
No. No. There were other surreptitious meetings. There were arguments, persuasions, protestations. But in the end, love won out. Paul and I ran away and were married. I will never forget the following day when Paul and I returned to Faith's father.
What is done cannot be undone.
Papa, you forgive me.
Yes, I forgive you.
Oh, Papa. Paul, isn't he wonderful?
You are the love of my life. And if Paul realizes this, he will not keep you absent from me for any long periods of time.
Of course not, Papa. Blue Acres will continue to be our home. But I hadn't reckoned with Paul when I made the statement. He would not quit work and live at Blue Acres off Papa's bounty, as he called it. So for the time being, we've been spending weekends at Blue Acres. At this moment, I felt a little resentful that Paul had taken me away from Papa. We arrived at Blue Acres, and Mrs. Eaton opened the door to us, just as dawn was breaking over Blue Acres.
Oh, at last you've arrived. Come in.
Papa?
Your father's a very sick man.
What is it, Mrs. Eaton?
I think, Miss Marlene, you should let Dr. Laurie explain.
Oh, here. I'll take the luggage upstairs.
I'll go to Father.
You'll find him in his study. Doctor had a bed set up in there where it's easier for me to care for him. Besides, he seems more content there.
Hasn't Dr. Laurie gotten a nurse for Papa?
We tried it, but he wouldn't have one. We'd better knock on the door. Doctor's in there with him now.
Come in.
Papa. I ran across the room to my father's bed. I looked down at him, and then in dismay at Dr. Laurie. For my father's face was a horrible sight, twisted and pulled out of shape. And his eyes, his burning eyes, they were staring at me wildly. I reached out for his hand, cried out to him, Papa! What is it, Dr. Laurie?
Stroke.
Oh, Papa, don't worry. Dr. Laurie will get you well again. Can you hear my voice?
I'm not quite sure this morning, but I think so. He does know who you are. Come outside with me, Marlene. I want to talk to you.
I'm going in the drawing room, Papa, to talk to Dr. Laurie. I'll be right back, and then I won't leave. I won't leave until you're well again. Come in the drawing room, Doctor. I should never have left him.
Fiddlesticks. You did the right thing.
But my marriage has brought this on. He loved me so, and I love him. He's been lost with me, gone.
Marlene,
Dr. Laurie, his eyes.
Yes, my dear. I was just about to talk to you of this.
What is it?
I wish I knew. Your father is suffering from some terrible fear that I'm inclined to think is nothing to do with his fear of dying.
Has he said anything about it?
He can't speak. Only the guttural sounds you heard. He can't write. He can't lift his hands.
Oh, dreadful.
What that fear is, I don't know. I've watched with him nights, and it appears that whatever causes his wild fear is worse then.
Poor Papa.
As soon as office hours are over this evening, I'll drive out here to Blue Acres. Perhaps between the two of us, we'll be able to discover what causes his distress and be able to help him.
It filled my heart with sorrow to see my father suffering such pain and discomfort. And the look in his eyes, the mad, wild look, was almost more than I could bear. At last night came. I rejoiced when I heard Mrs. Eaton usher Dr. Laurie in. He and I sat by Father's bed while the heavy minutes ticked past. There seemed to be no change in his condition. But as night wore on and it was fast reaching midnight, there was a change in his eyes. The fear in them was so marked that I trembled from it. Dr. Laurie said...
Do you see? His eyes.
Yes.
It's as if he sees something we don't see.
Yes. It was so. His eyes seemed to be riveted on the door to his study. And it was then that I thought I heard a low moan. What was that?
I don't know.
It didn't come from Father.
No. But look at him now.
Now Father's eyes were trained in closer to his bed. He was struggling, attempting to lift his hand. It was very plain to me, and I cried out, Doctor, there's some unseen thing standing over Papa's bed.
That is the way I diagnose it.
There is.
Something unseen to us, but clearly seen by your father.
And look, the bedclothes are moving, but he's not touching them. What is it? Dr. Lorry, what is it?
An unseen spirit, eh? Witnessed only by the die. What does Lawrence Terrence Lane see, eh? What causes him to fear so mightily? The hermit will tell you before the night is done.
And now the hermit will continue.
Only a few minutes have passed. But Marlene, in her anxiety to aid her father in his terrible fear, only makes matters more difficult. Now it appears that the dying man wishes his beloved daughter out of the room, too. And so Paul, the husband of Marlene, with his arms about her, leads her from the room, guides her into the music room, where she sinks into a chair, sobbing softly. Listen.
Darling, if you get overwrought, ill, you won't be able to help your father.
Oh, Paul, it's so dreadful. I tell you, Papa sees things there in his room. Some vision that frightened him. I saw the bedclothes move, and Papa wasn't touching them.
Please, dear, try to control your nerves. Shall I have Mrs. Eaton make you some tea? It'll help soothe you. I'll be right back, darling. Only take a second.
Paul went into the kitchen. I sat trying to get a hold of myself. It was only a few minutes after he'd left the room. Once again, I was aware of the same sound I had heard in Father's room. The sound that had made his eyes turn mad with the terror of it. Was I, too, losing my mind? What was the answer to this strange phenomenon? A sound that to my ears was exactly like that of a woman moaning. At first it was close to me in the music room. And then it grew fainter, but still distinct. And though it's difficult to believe, there was a second when I felt as if something had brushed past my chair, had touched my shoulder. I cried out for Paul. Paul! Paul!
What is it? I'm right here.
Paul, listen. You hear a strange sound?
What sort of a sound?
A sound like a woman moaning.
No.
I heard it distinctly. You listen.
Hey, you drink this tea and forget about such things.
Please, Paul, quiet. Now, do you hear?
By George.
You do hear it?
Some unusual sound.
Where is it coming from?
I don't know.
There it is again.
Yeah. Sort of seems to be coming from these walls of the music room.
That's it.
Or from out on the terrace.
Oh, it's nearer than that.
Here. In this wall behind the piano.
Yes. Why are you feeling the walls?
This panel here. Look.
Why, it's a panel that opens. I've lived here all my life, and I never knew of it before.
An inner room in here.
And you can hear the moaning from here much closer.
Marlene, get the candle from the piano. I'm going to look around in here.
Yes. Here, Paul.
Yeah, this passage in here must lead to another room in the house.
I'm coming with you.
And the moaning we heard was from someone in the adjoining room from here.
Paul, wait. Here, look.
What is it?
This enormous chair. Listen. Quick, there's someone inside this chair.
I believe you're right.
Hurry, they'll smother to death.
Yeah, it's locked.
Locked? Someone's been pushed into this chest, and it's been locked against them. Hurry, can't you break it open?
I'm going to try. Now the lock is giving now.
Not one skeleton, Paul. Two.
Two?
I'm going to take this chest into Terence Lane's room. When I question him and show him what we've found in his secret hiding place, no doubt we'll have the answer to our tragedy and our riddle.
When confronted with the chest and the skeletons of human beings found in it, when asked questions by Dr. Lloyd that Papa could answer by a nod of his head, we found the solution to the mystery of Blue Acre. Yes, the skeletons were those of Philip Court and my mother. My father had killed them before they ever got away from the house, the night Mother intended to leave him. Dr. Lloyd filled in many blank spaces in the life of my mother and father.
Your father was an insanely jealous man, Marlene. He would allow her no friends. He even went to the city alone and bought her gowns for her. He would allow no one to look upon her. He hated me because I attended her at your birth.
Oh.
I was surprised when he allowed you to get away from him and marry Paul. But I've figured that out now.
What do you mean, Doctor?
I found a large quantity of arsenic in his desk.
Great heaven.
I'm sure it was his intention to do away with you, Paul. Then, once again, he could have Marlene to himself.
Take me away, Paul. Paul and I left Blue Acres next morning. Terence Lane, my father, is still living. Mrs. Eaton cares for him. I haven't been out since that horrible night, when the moaning of my mother's spirit led me to her grave. But we will go out this weekend if he's still living. Paul says I can never be happy unless I forgive him. Besides, the eyes of my father show madness in the evening after darkness gathers. And so we know he is tortured enough. Each night he must see the spirit of my mother standing over his bed, accusing him of his crime of double murder.
Suffering for his guilt, unable to speak to those who stand beside him. And in the night time, a vision of a woman appears before him. The vision of one whom he murdered because of his insane jealousy. Yes. Terence Lane has learned during these last hours the blackness, the awful blackness of terror. Turn on your lights. Turn them on. I'll be back. Pleasant dreams.
Characters, places, and occurrences mentioned in the Hermits Cave are fictitious, and similarity to persons, places, or occurrences is purely accidental.
The Mutual Broadcasting System presents The Mysterious Traveler, written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Coben, and starring two of radio's foremost actresses, Gladys Thornton and Abby Lewis, in The Knives of Death.
This is the Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, and it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, have a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can, as we join two little old ladies who have one burning ambition in life: They want to solve a murder. It's a story I call The Knives of Death. Perhaps you remember two sweet old ladies named Grace and Florence Murdoch. Grace is 72, and Florence is younger. She's only 70. After a lifetime in a small town, they've set out to see the world. Well, up to now, their only recreation has been reading mystery stories. Now they're determined to find real adventure and not just read about it. In their hotel room high above New York, Grace Murdoch is looking out at the great city below them with eager anticipation.
New York, Florence, think about it. We're in New York.
I don't have to think about it, Grace. I know we're in New York.
Oh, look at the lights, the enormous buildings, the traffic. Florence, think of the adventures waiting for us down there. The people we'll meet. The mysteries we may encounter.
I don't want to encounter any mysteries. At my age, I'm perfectly content to have a nice, quiet time sightseeing.
Oh, sightseeing. Really, Florence, you sound just like a retired school teacher.
Well, I am a retired school teacher, and so are you.
That doesn't mean I have to act like one. Oh, as soon as we've changed our clothes, we're going down to Chinatown to have dinner.
Grace, you're forgetting.
Forgetting what?
We promised to go out to New Jersey to see Matilda Smith tonight.
We did. I don't remember doing any such thing. Why, I don't even remember any Matilda Smith.
That's her married name. She used to be Matilda Johnson. She was a pupil of mine the first year I taught school. A thin, unattractive Southern girl with just lots of money.
She sounds simply dismal. Why do you want to look her up?
Because of her husband. He used to be a professor. He made several trips to Africa, wrote some very interesting articles about the strange tribal customs he encountered. Now, I'll phone her and tell her we'll be out later. Hello? Operator, I want to make a person-to-person call to Mrs. Matilda Smith in Dobbs Corners, New Jersey. That's it. Yes, I'll wait.
There, that's it. The chairs are all in place. And now the table to hold my notes. Will you help me move it, Matilda, my dear? But be careful of the African knife. It might...
Oh, Maximilian. It almost hit my foot.
I told you to be careful, my dear. I have it. Oh, what a beauty it is. Sharp as a razor. And notice the carvings on the blade. The greatest witch doctor in Africa made this knife.
I don't want to hear about it. And I forbid you to talk about it tonight, do you hear? I forbid you.
But our little gathering tonight is for the express purpose of hearing my talk on the worship of death among the Dambongi savages of Africa. And a very select group it is, the leading grocer and his wife, the owner of the local garage and his wife, Chief of Police Hoffman, all our very best neighbors.
You can talk about something else. Why do you have to talk about death all the time? Death, death, death. You know how it frightens me to think about it.
But we discussed all that, my dear. And we agreed that the only way to overcome this morbid fear of yours is to face it. Now, what is death?
Oh,
it's just a word. Nothing to be afraid of. We all must die in time, some of us sooner than others, but there's no need to cower in fear of the inevitable.
Stop.
But, Matilda,
You're just talking this way to torture me. You want me dead. You kill me if you're dead, but you don't dare. You know the whole world would know the truth.
My love, you're hysterical. You must calm yourself. Remember, we have guests coming in a few hours. Well, I do believe we're going to have a storm, too. Well, it'll just make an appropriate setting for my little lecture. The Dambongi savages, you know, believe that on a stormy night, Death is able to walk abroad to select his next victim.
Expect me if you talk like that anymore.
The phone, Matilda. Hadn't you better answer it?
Yes. Oh, Florence Murdoch. Oh, Florence, yes, I do want you to come right away. No, you must come tonight as soon as you can. I want you to protect me. My husband's trying to kill me. He's
trying to scare me to death.
Oh, goodness, what a night. Florence, are you sure that Matilda said her husband was trying to kill her?
Of course I'm sure. She said he was trying to scare her to death.
Oh, do you realize that we've read over 1,000 mystery novels, and in none of them has a victim ever been scared to death?
What of it?
Don't you see? It's a brand new murder method. Why, Florence, this may be an adventure. It's much more exciting than a trip to Chinatown.
That's a very callous attitude. I only hope we're in time to help Matilda. Over the telephone, she sounded positively terrified.
Tell me again all you know about her, just in case.
Well, she has lots of money, and she's very stingy with it. A few years ago, she married this professor, a man much younger than herself. Apparently, he married her for her money. He's been furious at her ever since because he can't get his hands on her.
Go on.
Oh. Well, anyway, he's very brilliant. He studied witchcraft in Africa, and Matilda is sure he'd kill her if he knew how to get away with it.
Oh, taxi seems to be slowing down. Do you suppose we're actually there at last?
Yes. There's one of those little glass signs on the lawn. Oh. Smith, it says. Oh. But the house is awfully dark. Goodness, I do hope we're in time.
Is anyone home? They're an awful long time answering.
Matilda said the professor was giving a talk tonight to some friends. Maybe they don't hear us.
Yes? Who is it?
Grace and Florence Murdoch. Matilda invited us.
Oh, of course. Come in, come in. We were afraid you weren't coming.
We took the wrong train. We'd have been here hours ago.
Oh, what a pity. Let me take your things. I'll hang them here to dry.
Who is it, Maximilian?
Your friends, my dear. They finally located our humble abode.
Florence, it's you. Oh, I was so afraid you weren't coming.
We got lost, Matilda. But how are you? Are you all right?
No, I'm not all right. I'm frightened. Oh, I'm so
My dear, you must control yourself. I hope you'll understand about Matilda, dear ladies. She hasn't been herself of recent months. She's obsessed with the notion she's going to die.
Don't say it. I forbid you to speak that word.
You see, she has a death phobia. The very word upsets her. And most unfortunately, this evening I was asked to lecture on the worship of death among the Dambongi savages. A fascinating topic. Death to the Dambongis is a living creature. The thunder is the echo of his footsteps.
No. Make it stop, Florence. Make it stop. He's trying to kill me. He's trying to frighten me into dying.
Matilda. There, now, it's all right. Really it is. Professor Smith. Matilda should be in bed. She needs a sedative.
Just what I told her.
Oh.
But she insisted on staying up to greet you. Her room is right here. If you could persuade her...
I will. Matilda, come with me. I'm going to put you to bed, do you hear? Then you'll be all right.
Oh, such a pity, my wife's affliction. But I'm sure her old friend will be good for her, Miss Grace. Now, we were in the midst of my little talk. If you care to come into the living room and join us, I'll continue. And now, my friends, having discussed the curious beliefs concerning the subject of death held by these savages, the Dambongi tribe of Central Africa, I'm going to show one of the sacred knives of the tribe. I'll hold it up here. Notice the tremendous blade, razor sharp, and the curious carvings. The Dambongi believe that a knife like this is the house in which death lives, and that such a knife possesses a life of its own, and can seek out and kill a victim with no human hand touching it. That's superstition, of course. But still, strange things do happen in Africa. I'll pass the knife among you for closer inspection. Chief Hoffman, would you care to look at it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Handle it carefully. It could give you a nasty cut. Oh, look out. Dear me, you dropped it. Well, I have it. No harm done.
Seemed to twist right out of my hand, like it was alive.
The unexpected weight, of course. But perhaps I'd better not pass it around. Someone might be cut. Instead, I'll start the projector and show you the exotic tribal dance in which this knife was dedicated to death.
Grace, where are you?
Here, to the left of the door.
Oh, I couldn't see you.
Sit down. How is Matilda?
She's asleep. I gave her a tablet. Grace, she's frightened. She swears he'd kill her if he did.
Did you lock her door?
Yes, I turned out the light. And I set the catch so the door locked automatically.
Why? Because this husband of hers is up to something. I don't know what. But all this talk about the death worship of Dambunga savages and the rest of it, it's pure hocus pocus.
You mean it's not true?
Oh, not a word of it. There's no such tribe. Look at that film. It's just an ordinary tribal dance. But he has all these people in here, their neighbors, sitting on the edge of their chairs.
Then he's up to something.
Yes, so we'll just stay here with Matilda tonight. Tomorrow we'll discuss what's to be done. With the door locked, she should be safe enough.
Yes. The window's locked, too, because of the storm. Nobody could possibly get into that room.
Well, the dance is over. I'll shut off the projector. Turn up the lights. Now, friends, if any...
What was that?
What was that? What was it? Grace, that was Matilda.
Please, everyone, remain calm. My wife may have been having a nightmare.
It was no nightmare, Florence.
It was not, Grace. Come on. We must see what's happening.
Please, dear ladies, don't alarm yourselves. Poor Matilda frequently has nightmares.
That doesn't sound like a nightmare to me, Professor.
No, me either. Oh, I forgot I locked your door just now.
I'm sure she's all right. But just to make certain, Matilda, my love.
She doesn't answer.
Then perhaps we had better break the door down. Chief Hoffman, if you'll help me.
Yeah, sure.
Then come on. Once. Twice. All right. Now once more. That does it. Now let me find the light switch here.
Oh, she's dead. She's lying right in the middle of the bed where I left her. Only now she's dead. With one of those African knives straight through her heart.
This wall's perfectly solid.
Yeah, this one is, too. Well, it beats me. The walls are solid, the windows are locked, and we know the door was locked because we had to break it down.
And still somebody got in and killed poor Matilda. But how? It's extremely puzzling.
More than puzzling, my dear Miss Murdoch. Impossible. Surely by now it's obvious that at last Matilda could endure her terror no longer and ended it by seeking the very death she feared.
Nonsense.
You mean you don't think so?
Of course not. I've known Matilda since she was a girl. She was always emotional. She certainly wouldn't kill herself.
Florence is quite right. Nobody who worries so much about dying ever kills himself.
Then, my dear ladies, we have an impossibility. If in this tightly locked room my wife didn't kill herself and wasn't killed, what other answer remains?
I don't know yet.
If we rule out those two possibilities, we're left with a picture of a huge African knife, dedicated to death by the mystic spell of an African witch doctor, rising in the darkness, floating through the air, and plunging itself into its victim's heart.
Nah, she killed herself. That's what I say. I stick to it.
Just how did that knife that killed Matilda get in this room? I don't think that's been explained.
I brought back a pair of them from Africa. They're very rare and extremely valuable. One I kept, one I presented to my wife. She kept it in here, on her dresser.
I would hardly expect her to keep something she dreaded so much in her room.
Because of the value of the knife. Matilda, for all her wealth, was extremely close-fisted. Anything valuable she liked to keep close to her.
There's one thing you men are overlooking.
Yeah, Miss Murdoch?
I helped Matilda to bed. I saw her take a sleeping potion just before I turned out the light.
Then she couldn't have killed herself. The medicine would have put her to sleep too quickly.
Just what I was trying to point out. Well, Professor, what do you say to that?
What can I say, dear lady? Only what I've said before. Here in this locked room was a knife, animated by the very spirit of death himself. The storm is raging outside. The sleeping spirit in the knife stirs. The knife moves.
Now, this is Dobbs Corner, New Jersey, not Africa. That kind of stuff don't happen here. I say she killed herself. It's the only way it could have happened. And I'm going home. I decided there ain't no case here for the police, and that's not...
Yes, of course, you're right. It couldn't have happened in the other way. I'll see you to the door and tell my other guests that they're at liberty to go home. You will all understand that I want to be alone with my grief.
Well, Grace, you wanted adventure tonight. I guess you've gotten it.
Poor Matilda. That monster murdered her. The least we can do is avenge her by proving it.
If he murdered her, I'm sure I don't know how. He was out in the other room talking to us when she died.
Yes, he was just turning up the lights when she screamed. Oh, but we must try. There's the knife he was showing us there on the table in the hall. Get it for me, will you?
All right, though I can't imagine why you want it. Here it is.
Now, bring it over here to the bed. There now. Hold the knife close to the one that killed Matilda. I want to make sure they're identical.
Very well, Grace. Grace!
What, Florence?
This knife in my hand, it moved all by itself. Look, I'll show you. I'll hold it close to the first knife like this and... See? It practically jumped to touch the other knife.
It's very strange. Let me try it. You're right. There's a strong and definite attraction between these two knives.
As if there was something living in them, just like Professor Smith said.
Yes, and I think I know what it is.
The lights almost went out there.
Lightning struck the wires. But, Florence...
Yes, Grace?
I need 10 minutes. Go out and somehow try to keep the professor from interrupting me for that long.
But how?
Oh, how do I know? Use your feminine wiles on him.
I never learned any. That's why I'm an old maid.
Then say to do something, anything. But I need 10 minutes to discover the kind of black magic Professor Smith used to kill Matilda without ever coming near her.
Grace?
Yes?
Chief Hopwood is just driving away. The others have already left. Professor Smith will be coming back any minute.
Let him come. I'm all ready for him. Help me put this stepladder in the closet.
All right. But what in the world were you doing with the stepladder?
I found it in the hall, and I was using it to practice black magic.
Grace, what on earth are you talking about?
Look around and you'll see what I mean.
I don't see a thing different. There's poor Matilda's body, just as we discovered her, and everything else is the same, too.
Not quite. Florence, look at the knife that killed Matilda. Notice how straight it went into her heart.
Why, yes, perfectly straight.
And from reading more than 1,000 mystery novels, we know that when anyone strikes a fatal blow, it usually enters at an angle.
Of course it does. And this knife went in as straight as if it had fallen point foremost and...
That's it, Florence. Now you're looking in the right place.
The ceiling! Directly over Matilda's bed. There's a huge knife lying flat against the ceiling.
I just finished putting it there.
But what makes it stay there?
Black magic, Florence. Black magic, Professor Smith.
Magic?
Oh,
My dear Miss Murdoch? What were you saying about me and black magic?
Professor Smith.
I was asking what were you saying about me and black magic. Have you two been disturbing poor Matilda's body?
Grace, I think it's time we were going.
Yes, Florence. It's very late and we must be getting back.
Stand still, you two.
Gracie, his horse is gone, Atlas.
And it's loaded. Furthermore, I'm an excellent shot.
You'd never shoot two defenseless women.
Since he's just murdered one defenseless woman, Florence, I wouldn't be too sure of that.
I'm tired of this little comedy, and of you two busybodies. You'll stand there until I can see what you've done to Matilda's body.
Why are you rolling Matilda's bed out from the wall?
So that I can stand between it and the wall and keep an eye on you two while I examine Matilda, my late but unlamented wife. You'll see.
Good. Grace, what are we going to do? He may kill us, too.
I know.
You got us into this. Now get us out.
Oh, I wish we'd just gone to Chinatown like I wanted.
Never mind wishing. Think of something.
Can't. My mind's frozen. That gun looks so big. Florence, I'm scared.
Maybe we can distract him by talking. Professor?
Yes?
You're not looking in the right place. I suggest you look up at the ceiling.
I don't need to. I'm prepared to admit that you probably guessed my little scheme to rid myself of Matilda.
Oh, it was a clever scheme, but not clever enough.
I think it was. My little talk about witchcraft and black magic and knives that move by themselves confused everyone else so thoroughly none of them will ever seek for a more rational explanation.
But we know. At least, I think we do.
And you, my dear ladies, are going to be silent as the grave.
Oh!
A nice turn of phrase, isn't it? Silent as the grave?
You're going to kill us?
As soon as the next clap of thunder comes to drown out the noise of the shots.
Oh, no. Why, we have tickets for a round-the-world voyage, and we haven't even started.
You'll not need them, I assure you.
You'll be caught. I never read a mystery yet where the killer wasn't caught.
How different life is from books. You see, there's a pool of quicksand a mile from here in the swamps. Your bodies will go into that pool, and you'll never be found again. Particularly as no one is likely to come looking for you.
Oh, dear. We won't even have a headstone. And I always hated swamps so.
The lights have gone out. Florence, where are you? Florence!
I'm here. Help, it's me. Help, Grace. Somebody's trying to kill me.
Florence, calm down. You're in the closet, caught in the stepladder.
In the closet? Oh, I see what happened. When the lights went out, because the lightning hit the wires, I ran for the door. Only I got the wrong door.
You did indeed.
But where's the professor?
There on the floor beside Matilda's bed.
With a knife in his back.
Yes, Florence. He's dead, thank goodness.
Dear Diary, tonight we actually solved a murder, and in a locked room, too. The manner in which we solved this dastardly crime. Grace?
Yes, Florence?
I'm writing up our diary.
Yes?
And I want to put down how we solved Matilda's murder. How did we solve it? I'm still a little confused.
Oh, well, in the end, it was quite simple. You see, Florence, for 50 years, you taught history, but I taught physics.
What has that to do with it?
When we were examining those two knives and some strange force drew the two blades together...
Yes, I remember.
I recognized it at once that one of the blades must be magnetized.
Magnetized, of course.
Now, hard steel becomes magnetized when in the field of an electromagnet. So I reasoned there was a magnet somewhere in the ceiling. And when we got Chief Huffman to come back, he found it under the floor of the room above, directly over Matilda's bed.
So all Professor Smith had to do was to switch on the electromagnet, then place the knife against the ceiling, and it stuck there?
Exactly. You helped Matilda to bed. Neither of you noticed the knife because the room was lighted only by a small bedside lamp. Then 10 minutes later, in the living room, the professor pretended to switch on the lights. At the same time, he pressed the switch that controlled the electromagnet.
And the knife fell and plunged straight into Matilda's heart. Poor thing. But how did the professor get killed? You find us slurred over that. He's telling Chief Hoffman what happened.
Why, in testing the apparatus, I put the second knife against the ceiling, and the electromagnet held it there.
Yes?
Then the professor came in and stood under it while he pointed his gun at us and waited for a flash of lightning.
That was like a bad dream.
But when the lightning came, the flash blinded him. We ducked. The lightning itself struck the wires, cutting off the current and causing the electromagnet to cease working.
So that the knife fell and killed the professor. He was destroyed by his own evil scheme.
Exactly. By his own black magic it killed him. You might even say he was executed by heaven itself.
This is the mysterious traveler again. Well, that was hard luck for the professor, wasn't it? It's really too bad when a murderer has a perfect scheme. It kills him, too. And just because the lights went out. So Grace and Florence Murdoch are going to London soon. If you happen to be traveling to Europe in the near future and you encounter two elderly maiden ladies with an odd gleam in their eyes, duck. Because you may be involved in a murder before you know it. You may even become the victim. Oh, that reminds me of my story from next week. A Coffin for Charlie. It's about an Englishman who inherits a coffin. $1 million coffin, which he... Oh, you have to get off here. I'm sorry. But I'm sure we'll meet again. I take this same train every week. At the same time.
You have just heard The Mysterious Traveler, with the title role played by Maurice Tarplin. Others in our cast were Gladys Thornton, Abby Lewis, and Wendell Holmes. Original music composed and played by Al Finelli. All characters in our story were fictitious. Any resemblance to actual persons was purely coincidental. Phil Tompkins speaking. This program came to you from New York.
Adam Hack presents The Strange Dr. Weird.
Good evening. Come in, won't you? Why, what's the matter? Surely you're not nervous. Perhaps a story might calm your nerves a little. This story is about a strange spell and a stranger magic. I call it The Summoning of Shandor.
In a moment, you and I will take a deep breath and step into the strange world of Dr. Weird. And while you brace yourself, I'd like to do right by my sponsor and say something nice about Adam Hack. That's not very hard to do, especially right now with the breathtaking fall and winter line of up-to-the-minute Adam hats now on display in the thousands of Adam stores and authorized dealers from coast to coast. Why not stroll by your nearest Adam shop and take a quick look at some of that quality headgear? Believe me, when you buy an Adam, you're buying real quality and correct style, as well as perfect fit. And Adam is one of America's greatest hat values. Now, here's Dr. Weird.
My story, The Summoning of Shandor, begins in a curious circular room at the top of a deserted lighthouse near San Francisco. There are 3 men in the room. One is bound tightly to a chair, his face wet with the perspiration of agony. The second is small and ferret-like. The third man is squat, with a soft, pulpy body and blubbery countenance that makes him look like a frog as he speaks.
Well, Thompson, are you ready to tell us where your wife is yet?
You'll never find her, Fenton. She's out of your reach.
Let me put another splinter under his fingernail, Frog.
No.
That ought to make him tell us where he's got her head.
Now, Spot, I've got a better idea. Yeah. Have you ever heard of Shandor?
That old Hindu who lives down in Chinatown? Yeah, I heard plenty about him. I don't want nothing to do with that guy.
They tell me one little trick of his called the Summoning is supposed to make anybody you want come to you, even from the furthest ends of the earth.
You mean he can bring her here even if we don't...
Yes, Spot. Suppose you go get this Shandor. We'll have him work his spell. And no matter where Thompson has his wife hidden, she'll come to us, whether she wants to or not.
And so, half an hour later, the door of a tiny, strangely furnished room, deep in the heart of Chinatown, slowly opened.
Yes. What is it, please?
Shandor?
I am called by that name.
My boss has got a job for you. He wants you to work him a spell. The one called the Summoning.
Summoning?
Yeah.
That is a powerful and dangerous charm not to be lightly attempted. And yet it has been ordained for 1,000 years that I shall go with you and do as you wish.
A few minutes later, Shandor, followed by Spot, was climbing the endless steps that led to the top of the deserted lighthouse, where Frog Fenton and his prisoner were waiting.
Fenton, this is madness. This obsession of yours about Ellen, my wife.
Yes, obsession. For 5 long years I've waited for this moment. The moment when Ellen will come to me and tell me she's willing to be mine. Unless she does that, she'll die tonight. Painfully. Slowly.
That's madness, Fenton. Just because you asked her to marry you once and she turned you down.
She'd have been mine if you hadn't come along.
No, she wouldn't. She was just sorry for you because you...
Because I look the way I do. Like a frog. Yes. I know. She said it made her skin crawl just to have me touch her hand. You think I could forgive that? I went to prison because I was caught stealing money to have my face changed so she liked me. I told her that. She told you and you told the police. You expect me to forgive that?
Fenton, listen to me. Forget this crazy idea of revenge. Turn me loose.
I've told you the price of your life. For your wife, Ellen, to come to me gladly. Kiss me. Me, whose very touch made her skin crawl. If she won't do that, you'll die. Now, for the last time, where is she?
She's where you can never find her. Never.
You fool! Yeah. Thompson. You're unconscious. So, you think you can keep her hidden from me, do you?
Right.
What? It's you?
Yeah. Go on in, Shandor.
I obey.
You know what you're here to do?
This man has told me.
Good. We have a friend, a young woman. She's lost and we can't find her. We want to bring her here. You'll be well paid.
I do not use my knowledge for pay. Have you a picture of the one who is to be summoned?
Yes. Here.
Yes, she is young and fair.
Now, get busy and get her here. And if your spells don't work, I'll throw you out that window down to the rocks below. Understand?
Shandor has no fear of you. First, the incense must be lighted. That's strong stuff.
Shut up, Spot. Go down below and wait there.
Okay.
First, you must call the one who is wanted and ask her to come.
All right. Ellen, come to me.
Ellen, come. Ellen, come. Ellen, come. Ellen,
We'll learn what happens in just a moment. First, I wonder if we could have a word with you, Dr. Weird.
Yes, young man. What is it?
Well, your program really scares me tonight, Doctor. I want you to give me something for my frenzied nerves. Just say, what's that thing you're carrying around?
This? Just a human skull.
A skull, huh? Look, Doc, never mind about my nerves. Just go away for a minute, and we'll all think about something nice. Gentlemen, I hope the next time you stroll by your nearest Adam Hat store, you'll find time to step inside for a brief look around. Believe me, that fall and winter line of hats just arrived really represents a fine assortment of quality. Prices, you'll notice, run from only $3.45 up to $10. Try your size in a famous Adam 5, one of America's greatest hat values, which features the most correct, up-to-the-minute styles in genuine fur felt. Men choose Adam because an Adam just naturally does something for a fellow. The ladies certainly agree with that. That's why so many ladies are giving their men Adam Hat gift certificates for Christmas. That way, he makes his own selection of size, color, shape at any time he pleases, just by presenting the gift certificate at any one of the thousands of Adam Hat shops and authorized dealers from coast to coast. This Christmas, madam, give him an Adam. Now, Dr. Weird.
Now for the rest of my story, the Summoning of Shandor. In the tiny room at the top of the deserted lighthouse, the magician Shandor sounds the gong which summons the missing from wherever they may be.
Ellen, come. Ellen, come. Ellen, come. She comes. She is almost here.
That gong. What is it?
So you've come too. Mrs. Shandor Thompson. And he's been summoning your wife. Ellen is coming. She's almost here.
No, that's not possible. It mustn't be.
But it is. She's almost here now.
No.
Be not distressed, my friend. She comes gladly.
But she...
It is best that you neither see nor hear what is to happen. Look into my eyes. There. Now there is a veil over your senses.
I hear footsteps.
She is here. She whom you have summoned has come to you dressed in white and veiled as a bride.
Ellen, you've come.
You called me, and I came.
Yes. I've been waiting 5 years for this moment, Ellen.
I've come. I was glad to come.
Let me lift this veil you're wearing so I can see you. Your face, your eyes, your hair.
I will lift it.
No.
Now, take me in your arms.
No, your face.
You summoned me. You cannot turn from me now.
No, stay away from me. I'll shoot you. I'll kill you.
You summoned me. I shall remain with you as long as you live.
Still coming toward me. I saw the bullet hit you. Why aren't you dead?
You summoned me. We shall be together always now. Always.
No, don't touch me.
He summoned me, and I came. Now I must go back. Go back.
Yes, you must return once more from whence you came.
It was a great distance, but I was glad to come. Tell my husband not to grieve. I was glad to come.
I will tell him.
I was glad, but now I must go back.
Now, my friend, you may awaken.
Oh, Shandor. What happened? Where's Suspense?
The frog, like one whose soul was evil, has gone. When your wife came to him and he saw her face, madness overtook him. He leaped to his death on the rocks below.
Her face. It was horribly mutilated in the accident in which she was killed. She was buried in her wedding dress and veil.
She said she was glad to come.
But she couldn't have come. She's dead. She's been buried for a year.
Well, do you feel calmer now? Quite a powerful spell, wasn't it? So powerful that it could even call the dead from the grave. Oh, you don't believe a word of it? I'm glad. You'll sleep better tonight. Or perhaps. Drop in on me again soon. I'm always home. Just look for the house on the other side of the cemetery. The house of Dr. Weir.
That man will be back in a moment with a word about next Tuesday night's program. Meanwhile, between now and then, why not buy an Adam Hat Christmas gift certificate for the man in your life? These certificates come inside a miniature hat box, a miniature hat, and can be redeemed at any time at any of the thousands of Adam Hat shops and authorized dealers throughout the nation. Get an Adam gift certificate so that he may choose exactly the size, color, and shape he wants at any Adam Hat store or authorized dealer. Prices $3.45 to $10. For Christmas, madam, give him an Adam. Now, Dr. Weir.
I hope you'll drop in on me again next week. I want to tell you a story I call Death in the Everglades. A story about a young couple who couldn't wait for their uncle to die and leave them his money. They went into the Everglades to get it. But their uncle's friend persuaded them to stay there. Because they... But the rest of the story will have to wait until your next visit. Good night.
Join us next week at this same time for another visit with The Strange Dr. Weird. The Strange Dr. Weird, directed by Jock McGregor, is presented by the makers of Adam Hats, the hats that are always top in quality. This is Mutual.
Unsolved Mysteries. To sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil. What dreams indeed. Well may one wonder what happens afterward when one knows of the safari of the dead. The scene is Durban, South Africa, the home of Nancy Bruce. A group of friends just out from England are rising from the dinner table while the cafe boys carry the glasses of iced coffee to the long, screened-in veranda.
I love it. I never realized before, Nancy, what a delightful place Durban really is.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of leaving. Durban is as much my home as Portsmouth ever was.
By Jove, what the... Why, this is nonsense.
Do you mind explaining what you're talking about?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just happened to glance at the paper here. It mentioned something about the safari of the dead.
Oh,
I say. I'm sorry, Nancy. Did I say something to upset you?
well, it's all right, Jack. I suppose I should get used to it. Will someone please explain just what a safari is, and then what a safari of the dead is?
Well, a safari is the African word for a party of men, or possibly of women. A group of hunters, for instance, or ivory traders. Really a trekking or traveling party.
Oh, a purely local word, then.
More or less. You know, there's something intriguing about a safari. A group natives, perhaps carrying ivory, making their way through a jungle with the gun bearers on either flank. The boss by ahead, shouting orders while the whole group chants some tribal chant.
Then a safari can be of any size.
Oh, yes, anywhere from 10 to a couple of hundred.
You said something about getting used to it, Nancy. Yes, but I was talking about getting used to the safari of the dead.
Oh, good grief, girl, you don't believe in that stuff.
The safari of the dead? I do.
Oh, I say, really?
You see, I've seen the safari of the dead.
You're joking.
Come now, Michael. The safari of the dead is anything but a joking matter. I've seen it 3 times now.
Then you mean that anyone can see it?
Oh, no. Only those who have... Well, it's rather difficult to explain. But about 3 years ago, when he was still alive, he decided to go into the back country. I remember the afternoon he came home. It was early, and I was in the back of the house sewing. What's wrong, Harry?
Nothing, dear. I've got to go up country, so I came home early to get things in order.
Well, where are you going?
Coloma, I've got to check up on the plantations. Bill is arranging the safari, and I'll leave tomorrow morning at dawn.
How long are you going to be gone?
It'll take about 8 weeks.
Wana.
Yes, Togo.
You no go, Kalomo. Another man go. You stay here.
Well, Togo, it's nice to know that you don't want me to go.
No laugh, Wana. Suppose you go, me think you no come back.
Now, Togo, don't put foolish ideas into Missy's head. Come along, dear. We've got to check on a few things.
Togo turns sorrowfully away. In the excitement of getting Harry outfitted for the 8 weeks' trek, Nancy forgets about the cafe boy's warning. But when her husband is gone and night settles down, her thoughts turn to the note of warning in Togo's voice.
Togo! Togo!
Yes, Missy. Togo come, Missy.
Why did you ask the master not to go on the safari, Togo?
Oh, no can say, Missy. Something inside, in here, speak Togo. If wanna go, wanna no come back.
Oh, but you must have some reason, Togo.
Oh, no reason, Missy. Reason, all same, nothing. Reason not tell you what happened after man dead. All same before death. Reason not tell you when you are going to die. But inside here, you get feeling. You know. But reason for no got.
Well, you seem to be right, Togo. I can't find any arguments against your theory. Oh, but it's late. You'd better lock up. I'm going to bed.
Eight weeks pass. Every runner from the interior has brought word of the safari's progress. The last message to the effect that Harry Bruce had completed his inspection and was already on his way home. Friday night. Nancy has the house prepared for her husband's return. Fresh cut flowers, his favorite dish cooked, clean clothes laid out on mosquito-curtained bed.
Yeah, I think that's everything. Oh, he'll feel like a different man when he gets into clean clothes.
Dinner's all ready, Mrs. Bruce.
I'll be there in a moment, Margaret. Togo!
Yes, Missy?
You come and help me, Togo. We'll move the table onto the veranda. The master likes dinner there when we eat after dark.
Yes, Missy.
I'll just try to keep things warm, Mrs. Bruce.
That's right, Margaret. And then
Nancy stops. Dimly in the distance, the unmistakable sound of a safari. The steady tread of bare feet. The soft-voiced chant of the bearers. The occasional clatter of accoutrements.
He's here. Harry's home. Come, Togo. Why, Togo, what's wrong?
Togo, no hear anything. Please, Missy, no go.
Not go? Why, of course I'm going. Oh, come along. You know what the master will say if I tell him you refuse to go out with me.
Suppose you go, Togo go too. But Togo speak. More better you no go. But Nancy has already turned and disappeared in the darkness. Down to the government road she runs, and as she steps out from the line of hedge, she sees the safari swinging down the road.
This is Unsolved Mystery, and we'll be right back after this short break. And now let's return to this Unsolved Mystery on When Radio Was.
Now the safari is close enough for her to recognize her husband. There he is, and behind him his bearer.
Harry! Welcome home, Harry.
But Harry glances neither to right nor left. Fixed, unseeing eyes stare ahead into nothing as the safari passes the house. And then, like fingers of ice gripping her heart, Nancy realizes she can see right through the bodies of the marching men, can see the outline of trees, the outline of the hedge, the house. She's looking for the first time on the safari of the dead.
Ghastly. Horrible. I don't know what to say, what to think.
I think I should have gone mad. I did, or I was. For weeks I lay between life and death. Togo had carried me back to the house, and Margaret the cook braved the horrors of that highway and ran for a doctor. The doctor wanted to know what had happened, and Togo told him.
I suppose the doctor pooh-poohed the whole thing.
No. The doctor himself had had a similar experience, and so he was able, through understanding, to pull me out of it. It was weeks before I learned that Harry had died the day after sending me his last letter, and his bear had run on ahead for assistance and had died of exhaustion on the way.
You said you'd seen the Safari of the Dead 3 times.
Yes, I have. And now it doesn't frighten me. It seems that only those who have lost someone on safari ever see it. But once having gone through the horror, somehow you know it's approaching. And you can't resist the urge to go and see for yourself. I couldn't do it. I know I couldn't.
Well, I'm not exactly a coward, I hope, but I'd rather not myself.
Your opinion might change on that. I go to look again for Harry, even if he can't see me. And somehow I get a certain amount of satisfaction. That's why I won't ever leave Africa. You see, I raised one tiny corner of that curtain past which we cannot see. I know that something besides dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil.
In just a moment, you will hear a solution of the Safari of the Dead. Ladies and gentlemen, inasmuch as any solution must of necessity be supposition, liberties of time, place, and character have been taken in the solution for which you have been waiting. The scene is once again the veranda of Nancy Bruce's home in Durban, South Africa.
Oh, but surely, Nancy, you haven't merely accepted this Safari of the Dead without investigating.
Isn't there some explanation of your, well, whatever you call such a sight? I've done quite a bit of investigating. In the first place, I know over a dozen people who've all seen the safari. You understand, of course, that when you do see it, your mind's not exactly in a condition that would make reasoning or identification easy.
You mean that an attempt to identify the persons you see in the safari is almost impossible?
Yes, that's what I mean. I know Harry's there because I see him. As to the other people, they're shadowy, only half real.
Almost like a case of a group of ghostly figures instead of one.
Yes. And if one ghost is possible, then a group of ghosts is equally possible. You have to realize that the boys, the Kaffir boys, and most of the natives too for that matter, believe that a safari of the dead marches through the night. Now that belief, perpetuated over a period of time, and intensely believed in by thousands of people, is sufficient in itself to produce what science calls teleplasm.
The teleplasm being the almost vaporous, shadowy form taking shape out of energy and will.
Exactly. And the will of the natives, the wish-thinking and belief with sufficient energy behind it, produces a teleplasm in the shape of the safari of the dead.
And your recognition of Harry in that safari is brought about by some telepathic force informing you of his death?
Yes. You've heard of people waking up in the middle of the night and seeing someone standing in the room, and next day or later they learn that that person had died at the very moment they'd been seen in what is erroneously called their spirit form?
Not unusual.
I heard of that.
Very well, then. It's entirely reasonable to assume that whatever the thing is that appears and foretells of the death of someone can appear with surrounding teleplasm, just as well as it can appear alone.
Then your idea is that Harry appeared to you in some form or another, warning you of his death. But instead of appearing alone, he appeared surrounded by the teleplasm of the Safari of the Dead.
Yes. And whether or not my explanation is correct, one thing I do know. I've seen the safari 3 times, and each time Harry's in it. And that, if for no other reason, is one reason I shall never leave Africa. I'm going to stay here until I myself become a member of the Safari of the Dead.
Autolite and its 96,000 dealers bring you Mr. Joseph Cotton in tonight's presentation of Suspense. Autolite presents Carnival, the story about a man whose only emotion became hate, starring Mr. Joseph Cotton.
Hello.
Well, hoist my hubcaps, it's Oscar Otto.
See my new ignition-engineered Autolite spark plug?
Why, sure, Oscar, and spark plugs are the very heart of a car's ignition system, and they've got to be right for quick starts, gas economy, and smooth performance.
Well, mine are now, thanks to my Autolite spark plug dealer's exclusive plug check indicator.
Yes, the Autolite plug check indicator tells whether your spark plugs are right for your style of driving. And if they need cleaning, your Autolite spark plug dealer has modern equipment to do the job. And if replacements are needed, He will install world-famous ignition-engineered Autolite spark plugs for smoother performance, quick starts, and gas saving.
Right, Harlow.
So, friends, see your nearest Autolite spark plug dealer soon. He services all makes of spark plugs, and you can quickly learn his location by calling Western Union by number and asking for Operator 25. And remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite. And now, with Carnival and the performance of Mr. Joseph Cotton, Autolite hopes once again to keep you in suspense.
Feet 9 inches tall. I weigh 343 pounds. Married and no children. I joined the sideshow at the age 22. If you would like a photograph of me, I have them right here for sale.
All right, over here to the next stand, ladies and gentlemen, to the star attraction of the sideshow. That's right. Right over here. Gather around real close. That's it, right up front. Yeah, sure, little boy. You get right up close here. See something you never saw before. Ladies and gentlemen, Renee the Robot. Renee the Magnificent. Handsome, isn't he? Beautiful man. Look at him. How elegantly he stands. The elegant clothes, the gloved hand. Just so. The mouth, smiling. The noble head poised for all to admire. Renee the Robot. Renee the Man Without Emotion. Lift your hand, Renee. Like on pulleys and wheels, ladies and gentlemen, like a mechanical doll. You and I lift our arms this way, ladies and gentlemen. But Renee, lift your other arm, Renee. Bow. Makes you forget his flesh and blood, doesn't he? Walk, Renee. Like a mechanical doll, ladies and gentlemen. And now, with your permission, we'll have Renee do a little dance for us. Put your drum on, Renee. Look at him, ladies and gentlemen. The way he responds to me, to O'Mara. As if I were pressing a button. No question, no argument, no emotion. He hears my voice and responds. Are you ready, Renee? Dance. Wouldn't you like to have a beautiful mechanical doll like Renee to take home, girls? Of course you would. And he even talks. Listen. Tell us about yourself, Renee.
I am Rene Orlando. I was born in Louisiana, a small town near the Gulf. My father was a fisherman. I do not remember my mother. I was 15 years old when we moved to Baton Rouge. There I discovered my talent. My talent is to control all emotion. My talent is to live as a machine, as well-ordered and without emotion as a machine. They stare at me, the faces looking up at me, idiot faces, fools' faces who see in me their own reflection, who stand with open mouths before the image of the robots that they are. They are the puppets. They are the mechanical dolls, the effigies without emotion. And I, the torrents within me, the ecstasies, the floods, the pure singing passions that wash over me. And Gabrielle, my wife, Gabrielle, she knows the man who makes a farce of himself before an audience is no robot, knows when the day's mockery of Carnival is ended. It is a man who comes to her, a man who loves, hates.
Undo my hair, Renee.
Black. It coils over your shoulders like dark fire and lies against the secret hollows of your throat. Black.
Say my name.
Gabrielle.
Again. Say it.
Who else knows these secrets?
What?
O'Mara.
How many times, Renee, how many times do I have to tell you O'Mara is nothing?
You walk in O'Mara's eyes, follow you. You perform on the trapeze, and O'Mara stands below and watches your flight, and his fingers stretch out for you.
Listen, Renee, how many ways must I prove to you I love you?
You're with him often. Why?
We discuss matters of costumes and new ways of doing a trick.
And me also? You talk of me?
No.
You lie.
No.
You lie, Gabrielle. He says my name to you and tells you I am a mechanical man. Isn't that so?
Renee, you're jealous.
Yes, jealous. And happy for it. Know that I am not a mechanical man, but a man of emotion. One who loves and is jealous.
What will make you believe me?
There is a way.
If what?
If there were no O'Mara.
What?
If O'Mara were dead, Gabrielle. Now, no more words, my darling.
No more.
And that is why they call me Renee the Robot. And if you'd like a token of your visit with me, I have some photographs. They are for sale. They are autographed.
Don't be bashful, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, buy. Or maybe you still don't believe. Don't believe that Renee is a mechanical man. Oh, a little boy, come here. Here, I'll lift you up on the stand. Here we are. Now, slap him, little boy. Slap the mechanical man's face. Slap him. And Renee doesn't move a muscle, nor does he even blink. Buy his pictures, ladies and gentlemen. Buy from Renee the Robot. Renee, come in. I know why you've come to my trailer, Renee. For my compliments on your last performance. You were brilliant.
O'Mara, you must listen to me.
Oh, not for compliments, then for what?
It's for what happened in there in the tent, in the sideshow.
Oh, then you resent the little boy who slapped you. I thought it was quite a nice touch,
You
Renee.
go too far, O'Mara. Tonight was the last indignity.
You're quitting?
Stop.
Then you've come to say goodbye.
Yes.
How many times have you said goodbye? 20 times? 150 times?
This time I...
1,000 times? How many times in 15 years, Renee? You can't leave. I won't permit it.
All right, I gave you that much, O'Mara. 15 years, that long of dancing with toy drums. It's done now, over, finished.
For a mechanical man? Oh, but I always forget. You're not a mechanical man. You're a person of passion, you always tell me. You've got feeling.
Yes, this is true.
I always forget. 15 years a man can forget in that length of time. What was that girl's name?
No.
You know the one I mean.
I told you, O'Mara. I warned you.
What was her name?
Her name was Celia.
Yes?
I killed her.
You strangled her, Renee, with her hair.
Her name was Celia Barton. And I killed her.
Of course.
And you saw it. And you told no one.
I'll never tell anyone. You're my major attraction, Renee. Why should I tell anyone? You're not going to leave, are you?
No.
You'll stay. And so will Gabrielle.
Yes.
That puzzles me, a man like you and a woman like Gabrielle. So different. What do you do? What do you talk about?
We're not different.
A robot, cold, without heart and no soul. Gabrielle, flame.
You're wrong, O'Mara. You have no understanding. You do not know what's inside of me.
Cold, without heart and no soul. I know what's inside of you, Renee. Pulleys and strings and wheels.
Someday, O'Mara, you'll
kill me?
Yes. Yes, I'll kill you, O'Mara. I'll kill you.
Renee! Ow! Turn around. Get out.
the reason why I did that for O'Mara, bowed for him, left him 15 years and listened to his voice that long, perform for him. Habit becomes strong, as all of it had become habit. O'Mara, the carnival, the moving from here to another village, to yet another and another, and perform, and the nights of the mist like tonight, walk through it. The wet desert, pale reflections of light, the pockets of wind that swirled up the confetti, drifted away. Empty rides, the carnival that had run down. And shadows on peeling paint, and shadows on shadows. And Gabrielle in our trailer, waiting for me.
Renee. I saw what he did to you today. That child slapping you.
It amuses him. Everything I do amuses him.
The boy slapped you here?
Yes.
The shame is gone.
No. Now only your lips are gone. The shame is still there.
Why do you permit it, Renee?
No more.
Yes, no more. We'll go away from this place, from O'Mara.
He'd find us.
Far from here, Renee, to a place where...
I said it, he'd find us.
Well, let him. What difference does it make?
You don't understand.
Understand what? Understand how he makes a fool of you 10 times a day? Understand how he...
Gabrielle, my darling.
What? What is it?
O'Mara, he...
Yes?
Kill him. Kill him for me, Gabrielle. You kill him.
What?
Kill him. Don't you see it's the only way?
Kill him?
Gabrielle, listen to me. Believe me. It's the only way we can be happy. O'Mara has to die. He must die, Gabrielle. And then we can be together. Always, always together.
But kill him.
You must do this for me. Just now I tried, and I cannot.
You hate him, and you want us to be together, and you can't kill him? Why?
Because 15 years on the platform performing for him, moving according to his demand, and now just talking to him. He speaks my name, and I perform. I could not get close enough to kill him. I can only perform.
Then you are the mechanical man.
No.
Everything O'Mara says about you, it's true.
He loves you. Dance with him. Drink with him. Poison him. Kill him.
Renee, the robot.
Does a robot hate? Does a robot know jealousy? Does he love? Am I a robot, Gabrielle?
Oh, I love you.
Yeah.
Love you.
Kill him.
Yes. Yes.
Autolite is bringing you Mr. Joseph Cotton in Carnival, tonight's production in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Say, Harlow, Autolite spark plugs aren't just made, are they?
No, sir, Oscar. Autolite spark plugs are ignition engineered. And that means they're designed by the same skilled Autolite engineers who design the coil, distributor, and all the other important parts of complete ignition systems used as original equipment on many leading makes of our finest cars, trucks, and tractors.
And we love them.
Autolite makes a complete line of spark plugs, including the famous Autolite resistor spark plug that gives double life, greater gas savings, and quicker starts. Autolite also makes a special transport spark plug for heavy-duty use in tractors and trucks, and a complete line of spark plugs for marine and all other types of internal combustion engines.
And you get them at your nearest Autolite spark plug dealer.
So, friends, see your nearest Autolite spark plug dealer soon. Have him compare your spark plugs with the exclusive Autolite Plug Check Indicator, so you can be sure your spark plugs are right for your style of driving. And remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite. And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Mr. Joseph Cotton in Elliot Lewis's production of Carnival, A dramatic report well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Get your tickets here for the spectacular attractions that you will see inside. Rollo the Giant stands 8 feet 9 inches tall, his little finger as big around as your wrist. Rene the Robot, the man who walks and talks and thinks like a machine. Rene the Mechanical Man. Yes, you'll see them all and many more inside. One ticket takes you all the way through, so step right up.
It was sunlight when we listened to him, when Gabrielle and I listened to O'Mara. Sunlight of the day he was going to die. The carnival stood red and gold and green and bronze against the heat-shimmering sky. And through the dull, glinting dust, the crowd funneled to the stand of that, to this novelty, to that attraction. It kept on all day. The procession of seekers. And later, when the sun went down, first mist descended, and later, when it was night, and it was shadows again. And then it became a certain time, a time of importance, the hour interval before my last performance, the hour when O'Mara would die, and Gabrielle would kill him.
I'm frightened, Rene.
Yes, but you must wipe the fright from your face. When you are with him, be gay, Gabrielle. Frivolous for a while, then warm.
I know.
Here near the cage leopard, no one will see us. You will be warm for O'Mara, Gabrielle. You will wait on him and be beautiful for him, and he will drink a toast to your beauty with this.
Where did you get it?
I got it. A few drops from this bottle into his glass. Take it. Take it, Gabrielle.
All right.
And when O'Mara dies, Rene the Robot will die with him.
Yes.
My last performance is at 11. My last performance will not happen, will it?
No.
Because in a few minutes you will meet O'Mara in our trailer. He will be there, won't he? You asked him there.
Yes. Rene.
What is it?
Rene. Nothing. I will do it.
Now go to him. Kill him. Leopard, wait with me. You behind your bars, I behind mine. Wait. Walk with me. Wait with me. Oh, Leopard, forgive me. I am more fortunate than you. Time passes and the minutes go, and my prison will dissolve. A man will die, and with his dying, I will be free. And time passes, Leopard. A man is dying, and I am coming alive. The things I feel now, you would understand if those bars were being torn aside for you. But crouch. A little longer. And then, exhilaration, the joy, relief. O'Mara is dead.
Where have you been, Rene?
Oh, O'Mara.
I've been looking for you. There are people in there in the tent. They are waiting for you.
O'Mara.
For Rene the Robot. Come on. Wow, Rene. Makes you forget his flesh and blood, doesn't he, ladies and gentlemen? Walk, Rene. Like a mechanical doll, like a puppet on strings. And now a divertissement. Ladies and gentlemen, I have here in my hand a bottle. A small bottle, a brown bottle. You, sir, in the audience, would you mind holding it for me?
Oh, sure. Give it to me.
Now hold it up. Let everybody see it. A small brown bottle, ladies and gentlemen. Sir, what does it say on the label?
Says poison.
Poison. That's right. Unscrew the cap. There's nothing to be afraid of. Thank you.
You crazy?
You don't respond when I tell you to do something, do you, sir?
Drink it? You crazy?
Then you believe it's poison, do you not?
If it says poison, I'm not taking any chances. Here's your bottle back, mister.
No. Hand it to that girl, that lovely girl there who just laughed. Yeah, take it from me, miss.
All right.
If I asked you to drink it, would you drink it?
No,
And why not?
because it's poison.
Poison. A young woman gave me this bottle a little while ago. Her name is Gabrielle. Oh, but this is of no interest to you, ladies and gentlemen. What's of interest to you is Rene the robot. May I have the bottle back, please? Thank you. Would you drink from this bottle, Rene?
Yes, I would.
Even though you know it's poison?
Yes.
Because I tell you to.
Yes, because you tell me to.
Drink. You see, ladies and gentlemen, he drank it. Drained it. But don't worry, it wasn't poison. Once the bottle held poison, but that's another story. It was only colored water that Rene drank. And now, with your permission, we will have Rene do a little dance for us. Put on your drum, Rene. You dance very well tonight, Rene. Beautifully. Dance, Rene, dance, and listen. I went to Gabrielle, spoke love to her. I was right about her. She is a flame, unforgettable, love and wine. When she handed me the glass, her hand shook. Oh, dance, Rene, the people love you. Her hand shook, and then she dropped it. She dropped the glass. Wouldn't you like a beautiful mechanical doll like this to take home, girls? Gabrielle, he's alive.
Hold me. Just hold me.
What happened? Why is he alive?
Love me, Rene. Tell me it's all right.
Omara's alive. Why?
I tried to do what you told me. I permitted him to hold me in his arms. I permitted him to kiss me. I laughed. I was gay. Then, from the bottle, Rene, the poison, I poured him a drink.
And your hand shook and you dropped it.
Yes, how could you know?
How could I know? Your hand shook and you dropped it. Why? You kissed him. It was so pleasant that you...
No, I love you, Rene. Even now that I know everything about you, I love you.
What do you know?
Why you wanted Amara dead?
What did he tell you?
About a girl named Celia. A girl you killed. How you killed her.
She was beautiful.
Like me?
Like you.
So many things I understand now, Rene. Why you are what you are. Why you do what
am I?
To me, my love. To the world, what Amara has made of you, a robot.
You could have ended it for me, Gabrielle.
I cannot. Ever, Rene, I cannot kill.
More and more and more what Omara does to me. A word from Omara, a movement of Omara's mouth, a gesture from him, and I respond.
Rene.
You told him everything, gave him the bottle of poison, confessed. You could not kill him. Why?
Wait.
No, with you I was alive a little bit. I could be jealous. Now I'm lost.
No. Wait. My hair, Rene. Touch it. See. You're not lost. You're here with me. Gabrielle.
You should have killed him.
I couldn't.
Because you love him. You and Omara, the puppet of both of you, a mechanical
No,
doll. A
listen.
mechanical doll to play with like a toy. That other one, too. Celia, too, like her. You.
I'm Gabrielle. I love
like
you.
her.
Renee. No, don't.
Like her. Like her. She lay there, Gabrielle, her hair a veil across her mouth, against her throat where I had twisted it. I brushed it aside, leaned over, whispered her name on her lips. She didn't answer me. She lay still. Gabrielle lay still. I lifted her, held her in my arms. The pale light from outside touched her cheek, held. And through the window outside was mist and the carnival, and the seekers still there for the last show. Here and there the carnival lights die, one by one. And the light on Gabrielle's cheek dies, too. Oh, Gabrielle.
She's dead, Rene. You killed her. Put her down.
No, O'Mara.
Put her down. Rene. Walk. Turn left, Rene. To the tent. They're waiting for you. You strangled tonight, Rene. Again. Strangled. Rene. Walk. Rene. Rene.
I weigh 343 pounds, married and no children. I joined the sideshow at the age of 22.
I am Rene Orlando. I was born in Louisiana, a small town near the Gulf. My father was a fisherman. I do not remember my mother. I was 15 years old when we moved to Baton Rouge. There I discovered my talent. My talent is killing. Long ago I killed Celia. Tonight I killed Gabrielle and O'Mara. Now I will dance for you.
Suspense. Presented by Autolite. Tonight's star, Mr. Joseph Cotton. This is Harlow Wilcox speaking for Autolite, world's largest independent manufacturer of automotive electrical equipment. Autolite is proud to serve the greatest names in the industry. That's why during the early months of 1952, the Autolite family will join together in saluting the leading car manufacturers who install Autolite products as original equipment. Our Autolite family is made up of the nearly 30,000 men and women in 28 great Autolite plants from coast to coast and in still other Autolite plants in many foreign countries. Our family also includes more than 18,000 people who have invested a portion of their savings in Autolite, as well as 96,000 Autolite distributors and dealers throughout the world. Our Autolite family will salute Willis Overland on the next Autolite Suspense television program. If you live in a television area, check the day and time of Suspense on television so that you will be sure to see this program. And remember, be with us next week for another thrilling Autolite Suspense program on radio.
Next week, our star will be Mr. J. Carroll Nash as a man who searched for and found buried treasure and a curse, a tale we call The Treasure Chest of Don Jose.